Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris Mallard. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you had a great week so far. It's Wednesday, right? The week has gone by really fast. Wednesday, I'm working on getting my camera stuff fixed up. I look okay on the horizontal stream, but if you watch me on the vertical stream, it's like a jump scare. I'm all big in your face. I'll figure that out. It's one of those things. Good morning, everyone. I hope you've had a great week so far. We're going to talk about some interesting things today. I've had this notion that Jesus was a con man, and we can look at the examples set out throughout the Bible and kind of go, oh yeah, this is how a con man would do that, in fact. And that the Bible was actually written by people who were duped by a con man. That's how it reads. We'll be back in just a minute. We'll talk about stuff. Let's go here and go with this one. Ooh, let's do conspiracies today.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirain. Conspirain has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirain was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirain saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirain will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirain.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us again. Jump scare here. You know what? I'm going to do this for you people over on the vertical. I'm going to minimize me, even though kind of maybe it looks a little weird for it to be like this. I'm going to do it that just so it's not so big up in your grill. I'm pretty, but I ain't that pretty. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Beard of Empathy is here. Kiff Webb was kicking in the door early this morning saying, First, I saw you there. I saw you there. Surviving Will. Good morning, Surviving Will. Yes, Surviving Will asks, what TF am I witnessing concerning the commercial we have going on a few minutes ago? Therapists are standing by in case you have, any kind of therapeutic needs after watching our commercials. Damster says, why did Dante hate being compared to Milton? They were both Renaissance era Bible fan fiction authors. I don't know. I didn't know they were. I didn't know they had an issue. Good morning, Stephanie Ray. You actually made it this morning. Wow, look at you. I knew you could do it. I knew you could if you worked hard enough. Good morning, Ron Lothar. Thank you for joining us. Kelly Laughlin. I've been awake since 4 a.m. Kids play. I woke up and couldn't get back to sleep. Good morning, Kelly. I hope you can get back to sleep later. 4 a.m. that's kind of late for me, but for you, I guess you whippersnappers. Let's see here. I am looking around where I'm also live streaming on the Book of Faces again today and seeing if anybody's I'm going to see if the chat's working there. Good morning, Facebook. Let's see if it shows up on our screen here. Facebook. Ta-da. I think it will. John Hudson is here. Good morning, John Hudson. Thank you for joining us. Whistle gun. How interesting. I woke up at 2:30 a.m. from carpal tunnel. Interesting whistle gun. I had carpal tunnel syndrome. I had surgery for it a few years back. Yeah, my handwriting looks like shit. Shit before. But that's my excuse anyway. So thank you for joining us. Yeah, so you had the thing where it's burning and you got the rods burning up your arm like that. And yeah, I used to wake up like that too. Whenever I worked in the oil field, especially. The more I worked breaking rods out in the oil field, oh man, it's a nightmare. Woke up fretting. Good morning, Kelly Shear. Fretting. Well, hopefully we can rest you assured with no more fretting. Goodness gracious, all you folks are so early. We're up early. Why the hell weren't you here? I was sitting here alone and scared. There was nobody in the chat. And I was like, they're not coming to see me this morning. And then they all finally started to show up. Good morning, everybody. Future of Earth. Why do we have to sing if we go to heaven? I don't know if it's a requirement, is it supposed to be like raise up a joyful noise? Does it necessarily mean singing? Would joyful noise be like, oh God, oh God, oh God? Does that count as a joyful noise? The other people in heaven might have issues, but I'm just saying, that's just a thought. Good morning, secular feeliness. Let me come over here. Did it actually say the words from Facebook? Oh, maybe, I don't know. Oh, somebody wasn't looking. That was me. No, I don't see it over there. Hey, Chris, why do you pick on and bully Christianity and not other religions such as Islam, Buddhism, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Jay, good morning. Well, to be fair, and to be honest, and to be brief, Islam and Buddhism are not here in the United States en masse forcing their religion on us. Like the 10 Commandments in schools, the book bans, the abortion topic, women dying in parking lots because they can't get abortions because the doctors can't get permission from their lawyers to give them abortions because the conservative Christians and the politicians have made, you know what I mean? That's why. Otherwise, man, now Hinduism, I don't have a Buddhism or that business. I don't have enough experience to speak to that. But I kind of know a little bit about the Islamic religion because it's related to this religion, and I'm very much against it as well. It's just not up in my grill right now. That maybe in the future, possibly. But for the now, they're not in my grill. So that's really the simple, honest answer. Let's see. Just say you like sin and want to die with it. You think? You think that's it? Friendly Ghost says, fuck Israel. I can't really disagree with you on that. Yeah. Some theist Christians come in here and call me a Jew. I don't know why they think I'm a Jew. Some of them call me an anti-Semite, and I'm neither. It's weird. Let's see. Here. Glad I could help. Jay, man, I hope that clears it up. It seems like we seem like the angry atheist, right? Because we're like, dude, but really when you think about it, at least in my case, it's a reaction. We're reacting to how they treat us. So that's why we do that with them. John says he likes sin. He's referring to Topier, who says, is it Topier or Topier? However you like it. Just say you like sin and want to die with it. That's an interesting perspective, Topier. You like sin. So really, if you think about it, what is sin? Sin is nothing but whatever your God creature doesn't like. So you think we just sit around and go, what is Topier's God creature not like? I'm going to go do that thing today. No, we just live our lives. And oftentimes we'll be like, how come your God creature didn't stop slavery back in the day? How come it didn't stop girl sex slaves and all that business that it commanded people? Why didn't it stop? Then you're like, well, you can't expect the God creature to live by morals that we have today. That's just ridiculous. It was back then. It's not today. And yet you expect us to live by morals today that they wanted back then. Do you see how that's not right? Anyway, you can carry on with yourself. Whatever you think sin may be. And Zoomer Theology, why do you think Jesus was a con man? Well, there are several reasons, actually. One of the things, Jesus, good morning, Dylan. It's been a while since you've haunted our steps. I guess at least a day or three. Unpinned your stuff. Where were you? One moment here. You know how it is when the chat moves? It moves. Picture the caramel latte. Oh, goodness gracious, I'm all jelly. Let's see, 7 of the deadly sins. Yeah, they're pretty much just them things you don't want to do. Jesus will get you nowhere. That's kind of the one, but that's not the one. Good morning, John. Thank you for joining us. Social Federalist is here. The Happy Heretic. Good to see you this morning. All 7 of the deadly sins are pointless, and we should be ashamed if we do any of the 70 deadly sins. Says Future of Earth. Dylan Morrow, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. The only way to the Father is through him. He loves you all so very much. He wants you to love have faith and hope in him alone, not the world. It's just kind of stupid, really. I mean, it's embarrassing that you believe that and that you post that in full places like this. I know you think it's not, and we're supposed to revere your religious beliefs and stuff, but it's just bullshit. It's stupid. It is stupid. Your Jesus is the way, the truth, the life, and the Father. Wait. But he is the Father. He's the only way to the Father, but he is the Father. But wait, he sacrificed for yourself. He sacrificed for you, Dylan Morrow. But wait, if he's God, how could he be afraid of death? That's just stupid. So wait, he put himself in a body down here and was afraid that he was going to die? Actually, no, he wasn't, because he knew he's going to go back to heaven. It's just a whole stupid story. It's just all stupid and embarrassing that you believe it. That's what I'm working on, though. If you stick around, though, I'll show you how ridiculous it is. And what is Jesus protecting us from? What is it saving us from? It's only way to the Father. Yeah, it's protecting us from the Father, to be more specific. Katie says, sin is nothing more than a transgression towards God. No God, no sin. No God, no sin. Ain't that the truth? Good morning, Katie Dodson, kicking in the door early with that kind of wisdom. Thank you for joining us. Jose the Demon. Let's see what Chris, hold on a second. Jay, there's a lot going on, and I don't actually keep up with all the chat. I don't recognize you. And let me just see if you're continue to see. Jay. Yeah, I guess unless there was something else I missed, I hope I answered your question, and you and the kids in the chat have fun. Jay, yeah, I thought we had a question. Yeah, so, Etahuyen, is that how? No, they also start with at. So it'd be Awian. Is that how you say your name? Good morning, Awian. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Let's see here. There was a question about who cares about something. Was that you? Oh, yeah, that may have been you. I'm just trying to catch up. Jonathan asks if I'm Jewish. I just talked about that just a few minutes ago, didn't I? Why would you think I'm Jewish? Because I'm against Christianity. Is that your thinking? That because I'm against Christianity, I must be Jewish? That's interesting. That's a weird flex for you. When you build something, you have a standard in mind, but if the thing isn't reached the standard, that is sin. That's an interesting way to see it, I guess. I thought this God creature was a perfect creature. I thought it created man in its image. Aren't we perfect creatures? I mean, that's just kind of all, And then listen, whenever it's not really that it doesn't live up to your sin. If something doesn't live up to your standard, so what you said, my friend, is it like I have a son, but he doesn't live up to my standard because, like, say he didn't hit 6 foot before he was 15 years old, so he didn't live up to my standard, so he is unworthy of me and I'm disgusted by him. Does any of that kind of really? And now whose fault is it that he didn't live up to my standard? Is it his fault? Is it the kid's fault that he never reached 6 foot, or is it my fault because I'm like 5'9" and his mom's 5'9"? Whose fault is it? So when this perfect creature creates us and expects us to live up to a perfect standard and then threatens us with an eternity of damnation for not living up to that standard, it's just fucking ridiculous. Every day of the week. So anyway, Jewish. Why would you think I'm Jewish? I don't get that. God knows man can't live without the standard. God knows man can't live to the standard, hence why he became man and lived it for us. That's really stupid. He became man and lived it for us. Why? Again, what purpose did that serve other than that he could just have his own self tortured? Now, I want to tell you, you probably don't know who the creature in the Bible is. And you think just Jesus and love and mercy. But I can find you examples in the Bible of God telling people to sacrifice their firstborn son to God. I can find scriptures in the Bible where God is bragging about that act later. Would you like to see those scriptures? Would you? Would you care? Would it have an effect on you? Because, this is what sin is. This is your definition of sin and good and holy, right? So if God did that, it must be good. Interesting. Let me find that for you, because I know you have your doubts. Oh, I guess I should start the stage over there. Start the stage on that. Let me find that. It's been a minute, like a day or so since I saw that, because I was really up in it last week. Boo, 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 boo. And, I fully expect you to start praying for me and blessing me and doing all this stuff in the chat, because I know this shit scares the fuck out of you. But hold them. And then, and friends, if somebody count in the chat how many times they try to separate themselves from the Old Testament, just count it for me. Let's see here. Child sacrifice. Here it is. Ooh, goodness gracious, this is a goodie. Ezekiel 20:25. Now Ezekiel was a pretty big dude back in the Old Testament. You know, I mean, not that you care about that, but he was a prophet of God. You might go look him up. And he is talking to God, and God is saying, he calls Ezekiel son of man. So Jesus is later refers to himself as son of man, trying to shoehorn himself in as a prophet from the Old Testament. That's a con. That's a definition of a con. You've got a book from what, 500-600 years ago, these books that were going around at the time. There's no doubt they couldn't have not known about Ezekiel. And throughout Ezekiel, one of their biggest prophets, he calls himself God. He's speaking to the Lord, and the Lord refers to him as son of man. Son of man, you, son of man, come over here. Son of man, what are you doing? And then Jesus is going, I am son of man. I am son of man. I am son of man. Trying to get that shit to come on. That sound like a con man to you? It does kind of sound like a con man to me. But wait, let's talk about your Lord and God creature. The only way to God is through Jesus. And the Lord saith unto Ezekiel, so I gave them other statutes that were not good, and laws through which they could not live. This is God. Now, so you're sitting here talking about the laws that we're supposed to follow, how we're supposed to follow the rules of your God creature, and all this other business, but it actually brags about giving people who didn't do what it liked fake laws, specifically that they could not follow. Ezekiel 20:25. So it said, so I gave unto them statutes that were not good and laws through which they could not live. I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifices of every firstborn, that I might fill them with horror, so that they might know that I am the Lord. If you don't believe, okay, why so angry? Hey, why do you impose your bullshit on the rest of us? Why don't you get on some of your Christian friends and tell them to stop stop with the book bans and the commandments in schools and a church on every fucking corner and oppressing everybody else? Why don't you go work on that? Why don't you go apologize to every single trans person who lost their career in the military because Christians got into the government and decided Jesus doesn't like trans people or whatever, and literally fired all the trans people, destroyed their careers because of your fucking religion? Why don't you work on that for a little while? Jesus, the ignorance of some of you people. Any other questions for an observant? Oh, you are a Jew. Oh, you are a Jew. Okay, cool. I have like a lot of people in the chat and I don't get to keep up with it very much. Let me see if I can see any of your things here. Angie, so why so angry? Angie, why am I so angry? Why do you think I'm so angry? Do you know any non-Christian women who died in parking lots because they couldn't get an abortion because of your religious bullshit being enforced on the doctors? Just work on that for yourself. I am, dear friend, it's Aaron. Aaron, okay, Aaron. All right. Good morning, Aaron. Let me pin that for us. Thank you for joining us. Just like deranged men trying to tell our kids that it's okay to be gay. Deranged men telling our kids it's okay to be... It sounds like you have a problem, Michael. I'd almost suggest that you're probably, just based on that comment, a closeted gay man. I would bet that whenever the conservative group comes into town, you're one of the reasons why Grindr crashes. Yeah, I would almost guess based on that kind of language that you project there. It is okay to be gay. What's wrong with being gay? What do you give a shit? What do you care? You're going to go with God don't want you to be gay because you're not populating the species? That's just stupid too. Gay isn't an insult. It really is not. It's just not. And besides, Michael, I mean, don't knock dick until you've tried it, man. I mean, if you ain't tasted dick, you just, I mean, but wait, you have, haven't you, Mike? Oh, look at you. You sure have. Just shut up with your fucking non-90s weird shit. The gay 90s. It's funny how you judge somebody for judging and then you say you can't judge while contradicting yourself. Funny how you judge somebody for judging and then you say you can't judge. I didn't say I could. I don't know who you're talking about. You may not be talking to me. Let's see here. If you see a kid eating sand, would you go correct or let it? Would you burn him in fire? Tope here? Shut the fuck up. That's stupid. Yes, all the examples you give, the overreach of your God creature is just horrific. Horrific. You go read and you know, you go read the Old Testament and you go look at your God creature. It is horrific. Violent, disgusting. There is nothing it does in the Old Testament without violence, anger, threat of violence, murder, death. You know, I just read you. Here's the example we're talking about from Ezekiel, and I, you know, I to our Jew in the chat. Good morning. I don't normally address Jews, but. Ezekiel 20:25. So I gave them other statutes that were not good and laws through which they could not live. I defiled them through their gifts. The sacrifice of every firstborn. This is your God creature. And the Christians try to get away from that. Oh, that's not my God creature. No, that's the Old Testament. Jacob is a very nice guy in the Torah. I want to check it out because I actually like learning about it. I like making notes. What does Jacob do? It's like Abraham, you know, not everything is violence. Well, I would like an example of, I need to find out about Jacob, like not everything is violence. Abram did some things that were violent, but not everything that he did that we would see as horrific was violent. Like giving out his wife to the Pharaoh and pretending she was his sister. That sort of thing. Chris, we should do a day talking about how Christianity hates women. You know, that's like every day, isn't it? Abraham is kindness. Abraham is not kindness. You're talking about the Abraham of the Abrahamic religion, the Abraham who I just mentioned, who gave his sister wife out to another man and then lied to that man. And then she gave that man a disease. The Pharaoh of Egypt gave her a disease. And then he even gave her back to Abram and said, take her back. She has given me a disease. And then in chapter 20, he did it again. Didn't he do it again? He did it again. He did it. And in chapter 20, Genesis chapter 20, the man said, you know, I don't want her. And why did you try to give me your sister when she's actually, why did you say she was your sister when she's actually your wife? And what did Abram say? Well, actually, she is my sister and she's my wife. So she was in incestuous marriage to a man that he kept trying to give away to other men for profit. They went into Egypt out of the desert, out of despair, apparently, because of the drought. And he and Lot left Egypt so wealthy, they had to separate their groups and go separately. That's how wealthy they were from her coochie, apparently. So there's that. Then, of course, you know, there are other things about Abram. This is the same guy who gave us the first covenant of the Lord. He's, you know, not long after giving his wife to another man in Egypt and fleeing Egypt, they had the covenant of the Lord. He started hearing voices in his head, Genesis chapter 15. And the Lord came unto Abraham in a vision. And then the Lord promised Abraham, the God creature, promised Abraham a whole bunch of shit. He said, you have been loyal to me and honest to me and wonderful to me. So because of your deeds, in 400 years from now, your descendants will have all this land from this point to this point. It was all a lie. His children never had that land. Now, wait, that's a promise given to him. This shouldn't be something that they should be able to break, right? God creatures should know that they would break it. So they never got the land. It was never a promise. And God shows himself for the first time physically in that chapter as a pot of fire flaming. He asked Abram to cut animals in half and put them in a circle around, and it floated between them in a pot of fire. That's more demon-like than God-like. And then this is another example where I've told you it actually tells people. I mean, there's lots of places. Exodus 13, the first two verses in Exodus 13, it tells you to sacrifice your sons, firstborn sons, to Yahweh. And then it goes on about Moses telling his people how they should be grateful that they made it out of Egypt. Go read it for yourself. The God creature demanded sacrifice. You're going to be like, Molech. Molech was a method. He didn't like the Canaanites because when they sacrificed them, allegedly, they burned them. That was the Molech. It was a method, not a God. And then Then there's Exodus 22:29. I know Exodus 13 wasn't enough. Exodus 22:29, God says, you're to give unto me the first of your wine, the first of your food, the first of your calves, the first of your donkeys, and your firstborn son. They are to be with their mothers for the first 8 days, and then after that, you are to give them to me. He's literally talking about child sacrifice. That's God. And then I don't really understand why the Christians have such a problem with that, because Jesus Christ is a child sacrifice. Child sacrifice. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son to protect you. Jesus sacrificed his son to protect you, to get rid of your sin. That's a fucking child sacrifice. You can't get around it. You can go, he's a grown man. He's a grown man. It's cute. Still a child sacrifice. There's no limit on age on the firstborn son. And in fact, God, they refer to him over 100 times. He's referred to as the Son of God. God himself says, you are the Son of God. Demons who run into him out in the wild says, you are the Son of God. Yeah, it's a child sacrifice. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Jesus is a child. So why would you be surprised to find out that the ancient Hebrews before Jesus, because Jesus was a Jew, he was actually a Jewish rabbi, they actually, part of them, not all of them, obviously, of course, obviously, but enough of them actually sacrifice their children to God. So many, in fact, that we have 2 direct places in Exodus where it tells you to specifically do that. And then we got a lot of other places where they're telling them not to do that. Like, why are they telling them not to do that? Hey, don't be sacrificing your kid, man. Don't be doing that. Why are they telling them not to do that? There's one part of the Bible where it's like, man, don't have sex with donkeys, don't have sex with your mother-in-law, don't have sex with your own mother. I was like, why did they have such a rash of this going on back then that they had to put this in a holy book? Yeah, they did. And they did it often. So if you're a Christian out there, or if you're a Jew, or anybody who's appreciative of the Old Testament or the God of the Bible, and you're going to go, well, there's lots of places in the Bible where it says don't sacrifice your children. Well, yeah. Why? Ask yourself why it says that so often. Why does it say that? Why did they feel compelled to say that? Because people were sacrificing their fucking children. And then we've got 2 direct things right here. I've given them to you. Go look for yourself. Don't listen to me. I'm a lying atheist on the internet. And then we've got another one here where a pagan god sacrificed a child by fire to its God and won a battle against Israel. 2 Kings 3:26 and 27. King Moab offered his firstborn as a burnt sacrifice to win a battle over Israel, and it worked. He was rewarded by at least his God. Some God rewarded him. The moral of the story being, right? Jephthah. You like to go, oh, Jephthah didn't accept because God never came out and said, give me your child. But didn't he? Jephthah comes out and goes like, hey, you know what? I tell you what, listen, man, if your neighbor came in there and said, came in your room and said, dude, I tell you what, if you let me play your Xbox, I will set my kid on fire. And you're like, there's the Xbox. I mean, you do what you got to do, But then there's a whole deal of actually plugging in the Xbox for him. That's a whole different story. And then it wasn't just that he plugged in the Xbox for Jephthah. He actually helped Jephthah win the game. So he's like, he could have at any point unplugged the Xbox. He could have turned off the game. He could have killed Jephthah. He could have let the army that Jephthah asked to win lose. He could have let that army win and killed Jephthah. He could have let that army win, not killed Jephthah. And then whenever Jephthah got back to his home, he didn't bring anybody out to his wife. He could have had an angel like he did allegedly with Abraham stop him from sacrificing his daughter, but none of that happened. Jephthah was rewarded. He went home and he fulfilled the promise. He did. So Jesus, the God of the Old Testament, was quite about sacrifice. Again, so much so that they started writing it in their books to not do it quite often. And then you've got the Christians. The religion of Christianity is literally built on a child sacrifice. God sacrificed his son for you. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting to imagine that Somebody killed somebody else for you. They're like, oh, he did that. It's just so, he was so brave. It's disgusting. It's disgusting is what it is. And he wasn't brave. He knew he was going to survive. He knew he was going to come back. He's actually God. Well, how is God scared of any fucking thing, let alone death? That's just all ridiculous. Good morning. The atheist mechanic throwing a coin at it says, God has a higher body count than Satan according to their storybook. God did the flood that killed everyone but spared an incest family. So moral. Thank you for the $5 super chat. God has done so many things that he is just disgusting in the Old Testament. Satan kills no one in the Old Testament. No one that I know of. If you're going to go Lot and his daughters, or not Lot, but Job's family and his servants. If you're going to go with Job's family and Job's servants, remember there's two. It comes up. The Satan comes up to the Lord and says, "Hey man, what do you think of this guy?" God says, "This guy is holy." Satan says he's only holy because you give him good stuff. He says, well, take that shit away from him and see if he's still holy, is what God says to Satan. So Satan says, okay, I will. The next day, however, Satan comes back to God and says, what do you think about Job? And then God says to Job, because this apparently Job got destroyed. His family got destroyed. And now Satan's kind of coming to gloat, right? So Satan says, what do you think of Job now? And you know what God says? Though you, Satan, moved me to destroy them, your God creature takes credit for the deaths that you often lay on Satan. Your God creature does that. So praise the Father, Son, and Jesus Christ, the brotherly Holy Spirit. Amen. That's cute, Dama. I mean, you got any words? Can you use your words? Are you grown up or what? It's disgusting. It's for the truth. The wages of sin is death. That's just stupid, Toby. That's stupid. The wages of sin, dude. Again, sin, which is a creature that was 2,000 years ago, and you don't even know what those sins are, really. You have an idea. But have you ever gone back and read what the rules are? Do you have any idea? Jesus said he came to fulfill the laws. Now, you think that means that you don't have to do any of the old Jewish laws anymore, but Jesus healed a leper and literally told that leper to go to the temple and sacrifice with the priests, the required sacrifice as according to the law of Moses. Jesus had healed this man and told him afterwards, you now must go to the temple and do the sacrifices. Jesus Christ literally told a man to go kill an animal at a temple to pay for the healing that he had just done to the man. How do you feel about that? Isn't that weird? You don't think that's weird? That's not weird at all. Now, here's something else, too. Jesus specifically told this man, you got your reward. You have to go to the temple and you have to make the sacrifice. There's a rule, a specific set of rules for what a sacrifice is, where that sacrifice has to happen, and who has to perform that sacrifice. Jesus acknowledges that whenever he tells this leper. He doesn't say, I healed you of leprosy, you are free, I wave my hand and you are sinless. No, he told the leper, I have healed you, now go to the temple and perform the rites. So Jesus wasn't sacrificed. There was no temple. There was no priest. There was no altar. There was no Romans. Don't sacrifice things to Jewish gods. Jesus was not sacrificed. But that's a whole other thing. Tell you you're wrong. Good morning, Jack Armstrong. Holy Jesus, no way I'm hearing and reading this. Ron, just stick around, man. You got a lot to learn. You got a lot to learn. You know, one of the very first things, see, religion immediately begins separating people, me from you. That's the first thing it does. When you walk in the door, are you a Christian? Are you a Jew? Are you a Muslim? A Hindu? Who are you? So as soon as you walk in now it's us and them, because now you're a Christian, so it's those Muslims and those. And then God, Jesus, tells himself, all his people, several times to not follow his family, not listen to his family. They're disgusting. The people he's with right there are his family. And that's just destroyed people all throughout history. Their families, ever since Jesus. How many people have sacrificed their sins? How many people have gone off to like Jim Jones and stuff and their family went to get them? And Jim Jones sat down with him. I'm using him as an example. Sat down with him much like Jesus and said, look what Jesus Christ said right here. When his mother and his brother came to pull him away from that cold, he told them, you are not my family. This is my family who worships this God with me. And then, of course, you've got there's other examples, but I am so lost. So, yes, you are. See, one of the things we have, primitive, is Christian projection. Christians project a lot. You'll come in here and you'll say, oh, you atheists really believe in God. And you know what that means? That means you're just projecting, and you don't believe in God. You don't. You don't really. Deep down inside, you don't believe. Tell you you're wrong about what? What are you wrong about? Man, this guy's lost, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Where do you derive your morals from? That's just stupid. Dude, really? So your God creature gives you morals. So did you recently defeat an army and then keep the little girls as yourself for a sex slave? Is that the moral you got from your Bible? You don't know anything about your Bible or what your God creature commands. You're just ignorant of all of that stuff. You think the 10 Commandments and that's it. And Jesus and the 10 Commandments. You ignore everything else about the Bible. But without the Old Testament, you can't have original sin. So there's no purpose for Jesus. You don't like the Old Testament? No reason for Jesus. Just get the fuck out with Jesus. No Jesus. No Jesus. No Jesus. Get out. You ain't got no Jesus because he's there for the original sin, right? He paid for your sins. What sins? The original sin. No Jesus. But wait a second. You also like the Old Testament for the prophecies. The prophecies. That's Jesus fulfilled the prophecies. Somebody in the Old Testament calls out a name that's completely, absolutely not Jesus's, but you're going to shoehorn that in to make it sound like it's Jesus because it's a prophet and he fulfilled that prophecy. So there, you really like that Old Testament. Yeah. But again, whenever the Old Testament literally tells you to sacrifice your children to God, you can't hear that. You're la, 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 la. What about morals? Where do you get your morals from? We've got humanism where we've got general morals where we try to treat everyone equally. Gay people, people that are trans, women, we try to treat them. Where are your morals? Your morals are out there as a Christian oppressing women, to start oppressing gay people, to start oppressing trans people, to start, you start by oppressing people. Where do you get your morals? And you've got this objective morality. You've got this, you think God gives you objective morality? That's just stupid. If it were objective, how come none of you can agree on it? None of you. You got thousands and thousands of different sects between Christianity alone that war and murder each other for over thousands of 2,000 years. They've been murdering each other. Not quite. You know what I mean? What, at least 600 years. Since the Catholic Reformation. I'm sure they killed each other beforehand. They just didn't have different names for them at the time. Just heretics. I think they were called just heretics at the time. Yeah, where do you get your objective morals? Now, your God creature is the same God creature from the Old Testament that the God creature from the Jews. So do you sacrifice as for the sanctiment of the Jews? Jesus, the Last Supper was Passover, dude. Jesus was celebrating Passover at the Last Supper. Do you, my friend, celebrate Passover? No, you don't. And what is Passover, people? Before you start screeching out about me and Jesus being a sacrifice. And God, don't do that sort of thing. What is Passover? Isn't Passover where God sends an angel over Egypt? And if you don't mark blood over your door, this angel is going to murder your firstborn. Is that not the creature of God? Murdering firstborn children, your God creature. And then you're like, no, it doesn't take sacrifices. It actually took sacrifices. In the story of Passover, whenever God goes around and sends the angels over, it doesn't ask you for sacrifices of the firstborn. It comes and takes them. And then in the chapter where it tells the Pharaoh, they're talking to Pharaoh, why did you harden the Pharaoh's heart? He says the Pharaoh was actually going to release his children. He was going to release the Jews, but God hardened his heart so he could show the fury and the might and the horror that is the God of the Old Testament. That's what he says. Go read it. And then what happened? What did you get? You got 10 fucking plagues. That's what you got. It's disgusting, isn't it? The God says, this is what I'm going to show you. And he shows you horror and disgust. In Ezekiel 29, this is, again, you go read this yourself. Ezekiel 25 or 20. It's Ezekiel 20, verse 25. God says, so I gave them other statutes that were not good and laws which they could not live. Which sort of like the laws that Christians expect everybody to live up to, but they immediately fail on their own. The really strict rule, old school shit that oppresses people and hurts women and hurts people that aren't Christian. Yeah, that sounds exactly like that, doesn't it? Like a God creature giving them statutes that were not good and laws which they could not live. That sounds like you, Christians. But I go on. And this God creature, verse 26 says, I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn. And then the very last part of this verse, Christian, says that I might fill them with horror so they would know that I am the Lord. So where do you get your morals from? You have no fucking idea. Holy Jesus, no way I'm hearing this. I bet there's not. You're probably not even still here. Go here, toggle pin, praise the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ. I knew you'd be praying in my chat before long. Dr. Aaron, or Dr. Aaron, the chat goes by so fast, I rant. I'll try to catch up later. Holy Jesus, yes, says that person, praying in my chat again. Hence, well, that's just stupid. Let me see what's going on more recently. All these are pinned from way earlier. Bro has a problem with God not being soft. Sir, the Hebrew, not horror, but all. No, you need to read the other parts. Did you? I don't think you. And even still, Topier, teaching people, giving people laws they can't live by, and having them sacrifice their firstborn children to you. That is awe. That is awe. Topier, that is awe. You replace the word horror with awe. Do you see how you did that? Killing someone's firstborn children because they don't do what you want to is awe and wonder and glory to the Lord. I mean, you don't see how disgusting it is, do you? You have no fucking idea how disgusting this all is. It's just disgusting. Hideous. And yet, here you are. Jesus was the last sacrifice. You're right, exactly. You're right, Moore. You're right. Jesus was the last sacrifice from an ancient Jewish blood cult where they worshipped creatures that required blood sacrifices. It's a fucking blood cult, an ancient Jewish blood cult. Before that, they would kill goats and lambs. Jesus is a lamb. It's a blood cult, dude. It's a fucking blood cult. You worship a blood cult. And you come in here going, geez, you want an opinion to understand it no longer needs to sacrifice animals or children or anything that matters to clean you of your sins. That's stupid. Why didn't God just say, don't do that anymore? Throughout the Bible, it did, in fact, tell them to stop sacrificing their children, as mentioned earlier, because they were doing it. But it did tell them not to do it. Tried to, over and over again, because they were doing it. And then twice, at least, it tells them specifically to do it. But that's good by you. That's really good by sacrificing animals. You don't realize how this is just an ancient cult, a blood cult. The example I gave you here a minute ago was an example of God talking to his people. There's also an example where Abraham is worshiping God. He gets a bunch of temples. He makes a bunch of little stone temples, and he gets a bunch of worshipers around there chanting and worshiping, and he gets some bulls out. They cut the bulls' throats. They sprinkle the blood on the temples. They sprinkle the blood on the cows and on the worshipers as the worshipers chant, holy, holy is the Lord. How is this not disgusting, people? This is disgusting. This is Abraham, by the way. How is this not disgusting? What would you think now if we rolled up into a parking lot and did that now? Christians did that. Why don't they do it? Jews, that's just a different thing. I can't really determine what they do over there. The Jewish people do in their business. I'm talking about worried about Christians here in my business, really, to be fair. Made a vow and followed through. Made a vow. He made a promise to himself. Oh, really? I promised to myself that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to spank myself with a whip. Made a promise? That's stupid. What promise? And again, I want to tell you something, my friends. You're not listening. Jesus didn't sacrifice himself for you. He sacrificed himself for the goats and for the doves and for the sheep. That's right. Jesus sacrificed himself for the fucking lambs and the sacrificial animals. Because here's why. I'll tell you why. You reason this out in your head. You're going to deny me, but you reason it out in your head. After Jesus Christ allegedly gave his life and was sacrificed, there's no more need to sacrifice animals. So doves, ducks, lambs, goats, they don't have to do anything anymore. Their debt was paid. They don't have to be sacrificed anymore. No, in the sect of Judaism that worships Jesus, he was the final sin. He was the savior of the goats and doves. Do the goats and doves and sheep have to do anything nowadays in order for Christians not to sacrifice them? Do the goats and doves and stuff need to worship God? Do the lambs have to worship God and believe in God before the Christians, or do the Christians go and still sacrifice them? No, they don't. Their price was paid, but ours is not paid. We're still sinners. We're still dirty. We're still pathetic. So whose sacrifice did Jesus pay for, really? Your sacrifice? I don't think so. Let me see. You can barely understand why we are here, how we got here. How can your limited mind understand an eternal God? See, this is Christian projection, Wanjiku. Yeah, you don't understand why we are here. You have no idea how we got here. And you believe on an eternal God creature that you can't prove, that other people told you about, that lies, that cheats, that murders, that kills, that does all these. I mean, it's a horrific God monster. It's a God monster. And you've been lied to so often that it's merciful and love and it's kind. It's just a God creature. It's merciful and love and it's kind. And I pray for your soul, because as soon as you're going to die, it's going to get you. It's going to destroy you forever. You're going to get the God creature. You don't see that? You don't see that? Love and mercy and peace. My ass. Thank you, the atheist mechanic. God sacrificed himself to himself to act as a loophole for rules that he created. Matt Dillahunty, I love this quote for him. That's right. I mean, what is it about God that forced him to require blood? What? It's not like, okay, so listen, here I'm going to tell you something. When you watch somebody, like let's say the Assassin's Creed or John Wick, that one of the things they're going to do is they're going to take a pinky. And the purpose of taking a pinky or finger or some business like that is so you can prove your dedication. You are giving of your flesh to prove, right? That's the proof you need. That's why they're doing this, the giving of the flesh. So you know, so it's proof. But doesn't God know your heart? Why would he need your flesh if he knew your heart? Why would he need your flesh to make proof that you're sincere? That's just stupid. Isn't it stupid? And this notion that God would want to harm people, that you think your God creature is mercy and love and eternal damnation and hellfire, and that your God creature did all the things. How many of you Christians out there think Jesus was God? So then Jesus was the one who did all the horrific things in the Old Testament. Jesus did that. Jesus is the one who commanded these people to sacrifice their children to him. Jesus did that. Is that what you're saying? If Jesus is God? How do you parse that out? You have to know, no. When Jinku says you have the burden of proof there is no God. See how they have it exactly backwards. That's not right. I don't have to prove there's no God. That's just stupid. You're making the claim that there is a God. You're making the claim there's a God. You go around claiming there's a God. I don't believe it. And then you try to force that belief on me and I complain, and that's where it leads us to this. But no, you have to prove there's a God. Then I can disprove it. Do you see how that works? I know you like to do, I don't know why. How did we get this far into this and you don't even know that? That's just ridiculous. We have the burden of proof, to prove nothing. You claim this thing of yours has all manner of power, and yet you can't get it to do anything, nothing. You're like, oh, it saved this Bible beside this woman's bed. This is just wonderful. But yeah, the rest of the fucking nursing home burned down and thousands of people died in horrific deaths. But that Bible is sitting there on the shelf. It's ridiculous. People are ridiculous. Nobody's forcing you. Yeah, tell that to our children in schools with the 10 Commandments and the book burnings and the women who can't get abortions now. You just fuck off with yourself. Unless you're, I don't know, sorry, man, you may not be talking to me, but if you're talking to me, yeah, they're forcing us. You need to just mind your business. Christians are all over the place. Christians are running our government right now and attacking a nation, a foreign nation with our military in the name of Jesus Christ. So, back to truck up. What child sacrifice did God command? Isaac. Isaac was an adult. All right. Hold on a second, Mr. Pendragon. First, Jesus is a child sacrifice. That's one. Jesus is the Son of God. So God so loved the world, he gave his what? His only begotten self? No, his only begotten Son. Jesus is a fucking child sacrifice. That should be enough right there. But I'll give you some more scriptures where God commands people to sacrifice their children to him. Do you want those? Now you're going to read them and you're going to say, oh no, that's not what that says. But it's exactly what it says. Let me go here. And I have seen some wonderful equivocations to where they go, let's see. Good day, mate. There you go, Just Let me see here. Let me bring up my scriptures for you that I have right handy just for you, because I know you're going to disbelieve me. Go for go for you and read the very first two scriptures of Genesis 13, where God says, "Sacrifice." Now you got what you got to sacrifice your firstborn son to me. Go read that one. He tells them then to do it. And then he does it in another place where, and it's Exodus 22:29. He says, "Now, don't be stingy with your offerings. You're supposed to give me of the fruits of the field, your firstborn lamb, your firstborn calf, and your firstborn son. They are supposed to be with their mother for the first 8 days, and then you give them to me." Child sacrifice. So Pendragon, there you go. Now, I also want to, for Pendragon, for your sake, I'd like to point out something else that I have learned recently in this study of mine. One of the things is you ask yourself, like, why isn't it weird that God would even bother asking Abraham to sacrifice his son? Isn't that weird at all? I know it's a test of his faith, but God knows your heart. Wouldn't he know his heart that he would do it? I mean, why would he do that? Because they used to really do that to God. And you'll notice if you go, now this is something, again, Mr. Pendragon, go look. And I've recently learned that the oldest of the texts may actually confirm this. They go, 1 went up and 2 came down. So you go look at that yourself. Animals do not survive death by sacrifice. They do not. And you don't get anything back when you sacrifice it. If you're going to... If you're not going to read the Old Testament, read only what Jesus said. Read it 4 or 5 times, only the words of Jesus, then you'll see that Paul is your Antichrist. It's an interesting take, really. I would recommend no one do that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Paul probably is your Antichrist, and that's the deal, my friends. Really, when you think about it, they're right. This individual is right. Jesus came along and he taught a message, a specific message. And Paul does not teach that message. Paul teaches the worship of Jesus. And therefore, Paul leads you astray. We've talked about this on the show. Jesus was not God. Jesus was a prophet. In Mark chapter 7, he even says a prophet is honored everywhere but his own hometown. When Jesus went to his hometown and they didn't honor him, he called himself a prophet. He was not God. He calls himself the Son of Man over and over and over again. He was not God. So when Paul elevated him to God, he sent all the rest of you to fucking hell. Because now you worship Jesus instead of God. And in Genesis, and the first commandment says you shouldn't do that. You're to worship no other gods, but you worship the prophet, and you've elevated him literally to godhood. So where are you going to be? Are we going to be holding hands in hell when we scream and burn, or is that just going to be me alone? Do they have a separate area of hell for Christians who fell for the bullshit? And we're not even talking about the cons. We haven't even really gotten to the cons of Jesus Christ. Where he would go somewhere and heal somebody and go do this and work this miracle, work that miracle. And it's really all just a big, huge con job. He had a group of people who went around with him who were literally his cohorts. We know they were. They claimed to be his disciples. And, it just kind of really, when you apply logic to it, it really does make more sense that, you've got the Penn and Teller style con men going around. And you go read the text. Go read where Jesus is sitting around healing people. And other people there are watching these miracles. They're watching the miracles and they're not convinced. So much so to the point that they plot to kill Jesus after watching his miracles. Yeah, they didn't buy it. That was in Mark chapter 4. If you're not familiar with this, you really should just go read your Bible. It's that one where the Jesus. All right, so here's the deal. Bob, Steve, and Mike, what you're going to do is you're going to carry Paul. All right, so I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be praying and all this stuff. And when you guys bring Paul in, and I'm going to heal Paul, and then Paul can get up and walk out. And so Jesus is in here. He's allegedly teaching and doing all this stuff. And then here come these people that carry this guy in and they put him down and Jesus heals him. He's healed. I am healed. They used to do that in South in these what they call the ministries, the roving ministries, the healing, they'd go from little town to little town to little town. revivals and stuff like that, healing people, same thing, same fucking thing. But Jesus, with all of his awe and power, they didn't buy it. They didn't buy it. They were preparing to kill him. Let's go find that for you, because you don't believe me. I know you don't believe me. Tell me you don't believe me without telling me you don't believe me. You Christians are just so cute. Let's see, just bear with me while I find this, because in the very next chapter, it actually starts with, it's like, they saw him working their miracles and they were jealous and they were angry with him. And he's like, why are you going to do this? And then they were plotting to kill him. And the very next chapter opens with Jesus and his followers retreated to the lake. That's funny. Let's see, Mark chapter 5 is just a bunch of fiction miracles. Again, in John chapter 5, or Mark chapter 5, Jesus is identified as the Son of God. This is when, is it Legion? Legion, yeah. Legion says, what do you want with me? Jesus, Son of Most High God. Never called him God himself, though. Jesus pulls his Legion out. Wait, all right, so let me finish finding this. Have mercy on the Christians. That's not it. Jesus' own family. There's that one. I've got so many notes, people. You just got to bear with me. Jesus said the crowded lake. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's getting closer. Here we go. Mark chapter 3. I find it weird how Jesus performing miracles was enough to awe and wonder people into his following, yet others saw his miracles, literally witnessed him healing people, and openly plotted to kill him. I mean, I get it. It wasn't even like he was there to take over their town or nothing. He was just a traveling healer, just going for play. Why would they? And then they saw this. They knew he had the power, and yet they're going to do this anyway? That's just stupid. It's stupid. But they were stupid back then, right? Because they believed anything, apparently. Anyway, so then it goes, openly plotted to kill him. Mark chapter 3, verse 6. It must have scared Jesus because him and his disciples left the town immediately after. So that's Mark chapter 3. Go read it up into verse 6. You'll find it yourself. I'm sure I got confidence in you. Mark 3, 7 and 8. Jesus withdrew his disciples to the lake, and a large crowd from Galilee followed. When they heard all he was doing, many people came to him from Judea, Jerusalem, Idumea, and the regions across the Jordan and around Tyre and Sidon. And yet nobody bothered to write that shit down. Huh. Nobody. That's got to be thousands and thousands and thousands. But I know it's ancient Middle Eastern, of course, but they don't really have a lot. They're not big fans of writing, but they do have writing. Nobody wrote this down? Nobody wrote it down? Nobody. And this is just one instance, I thought. That's why I even marked it in the book. This is just one instance where Jesus goes and thousands of people go, allegedly, according to the author, who was a fan of Jesus. See, that's the whole deal. Jesus was a con man. Yeah. And the Bible, the New Testament, is a book written by the people he duped, believed. Yeah, he was a con man. And the people, they believed. Let's see here. Let's do something fun. Let's do this right here.
Finnegan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Finnegan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Pupius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalot the Fifth.
You're Popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Finnegan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms. Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your Popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right, we are back, my friends. Let me find this for you. Let's see, is it Mark 7? I'll find it real quick. Somebody said we have a doubter in the chat. Let me see if it's that one right there. Let me go here, Control F. Nope, so it's number 5, I think. Mark book 5. Let's go to Mark chapter 5. We'll search for prophet. 1. Where is it? Where is the word prophet? Why are you not lighting up? Okay. This search function, no worky. That's all right. Let me go to 6. Maybe it's 6. No, bear with me. I'll find it. All right, so here, you're like Jesus was comparing himself to the prophets because he was a God. No. Jesus, it said, this is the book. You go read the chapter yourself, and you just twist the fuck out of it all you want to. A prophet without honor is kind of the title of the chapter, Mark chapter 6. Jesus left there and went to his hometown accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. Okay, that sounds good. Where did this man get these things, they asked. What's this wisdom that has been given to him? What are these remarkable miracles that he is performing? Isn't that crazy? That's just great. He's just fantastic. Isn't this the carpenter? Isn't this Mary's son and the brother of James, Joseph, and Simon and Judas? Aren't his sisters here with us? And they took offense with him. Wait. The first part of this literally says they were blown away by his magic, and then they realized who he was, and that he was just a fucking huckster and a shyster and a liar and a con man. And so they said, and they took offense at him. Then Jesus says, my friend, the one out there who says Jesus was just, he says to them, a prophet, right, like himself, is not without honor except in his hometown. Whose hometown is he in? Is he in somebody else's town? No, he's in his hometown. He is talking about him fucking self, and you know it. And if you deny it, you're just intentionally lying to yourself. But you can't lie to us because we got the Bible right here. The Bible says so. Bible told me so. So right here, it does say, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home. Because they don't believe your bullshit. They don't believe the lies. The very next line says, and now this is Mark chapter 6. Verse 5. He could not do any miracles there except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them, like, his followers. But he couldn't do any miracles. He was amazed at their lack of faith. But wait a second. I thought he was going around showing miracles to build faith. Well, what's the purpose of all the miracles? Anyway, yeah. So there. They were holy to the Lord. Let's see. Enjoy your hell and monkeypox. Thank you, Michael Vrana, for bringing us the thread of the day. Appreciate you. Dude's cherry picking scripture. That's what priests do. Yeah. Jeff, you just don't like what I got to say, man. Carry on. Cherry picking scriptures. Bitcoin Maxi. Where do you get your purpose in life? Just God? Is that all you live for? You don't like trade Bitcoin or anything? You don't spend your time studying, enjoying, and going and doing Bitcoin, maybe making Bitcoin or trading Bitcoin or finding other places? Is all you do God? But Bitcoin's in your name. You have no purpose in life other than God? Maybe you have purpose other than life. I do Shakespeare. Yeah, I do Shakespeare. I got a wife. I got dogs. I got a family. I like a car. I like things I want to do, things I want to be, places I want to go. I got purpose. You ain't got no purpose, but you're God creature? Really? Really? In that case, I pity you, and you must have a very pathetic, boring life. So I probably shouldn't be giving you shit. You if you're thinking that shit, you got no problems. One of us is in a bad place, and that's you. Let's see here. More Rice says animals do not survive death by sacrifice. The sacrificial lamb was a physical death demonstrated, but proved that Jesus takes it a step further and resurrects and defiles death. That's stupid. That is stupid. More, I wish I had saw that earlier. That's stupid. He defeats death. Wait. It is the God creature that created everything, the entire universe. You believe Jesus is actually that being in physical form, and you think somehow that creature is afraid of being dead? Isn't that stupid? Really? The God creature that created the entire universe put himself in man form and fears anything? No, that's stupid. Sorry. Also, he didn't sacrifice himself. The Romans executed him for claiming to be their king. That's why he died. So for those of you who claim coming in, Jesus is king. No, in fact, he never was. Let's see, Christian church is a scam. Absolutely. Bigotry. Yeah, Kelly, you do what you got to do. Yeah. We just read. Good morning, Christian Abraham. That's an interesting name. The Bible is a bad smut novel. Really, it depends on how you think of smut. John 3:10. Man, the chat moved. I can't see it. Where'd it go? I didn't see it. I'm not going to look it up. Maybe if I get this one. He likened his treatment to the prophets. That's idiotic. Or you just didn't read it yourself. You're a liar, maybe? Yeah. And then it says Jesus went around teaching from village to village. A snuff novel. That's a good one. This guy has so many neurosis and nervousness tics. Do I? I wonder, is that how you rock, Dungeon Master? Where am I wrong? Would you please go to the scripture to me and point out where I'm wrong? Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to point out to you people how ridiculous this bullshit is. It's just fucking stupid. And all you can do is insult me. You can't show me here in the text, in the New Testament, in Mark, where he actually says that this is not true. Now, there's one place I think one, maybe two places where Jesus says, I and the Lord are one. Let me look that up. Let me see let's see. John 3. Oh, is that maybe that was the one you wanted me to look up earlier? Man, that might be good. Yeah. I want to read what he's talking about, though. Let's get that into some context. Is he saying he's God there? Let's see. I and the Father. Read full chapter. That's John 30. All right, so. Yes, I don't think that means what you think it means, and I think I'm going to come back to that. Yeah. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. No one will snatch them out of my hand. My Father, not me, my Father, who has given me to me is greater than all. Somebody separate than me is greater than all. No one can snatch them out of my Father's hands. He and I agree on this. He and I are one. We agree on this. since we agree on this, what I have just said, that means he and I are one. That does not fucking mean we are the same person. He literally tells them the verse before, my Father, somebody else who has given them to me. I mean, and then it even says, you can clearly tell that's what they're talking about, where he's saying that him and the Father are on the same side. If you piss me off, you piss the Father off. So I'm going to remember that, and I thank you for sending me that one. That's even more pathetic than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to remember that. John 20, where he's essentially saying, listen, me and God agree. And the Christians seem to think that that means Jesus is God, despite Jesus literally saying God is somebody else in that very same verse, or the verse right before. What was that? Which one? John 10. Thank you for that. Man, you guys are so fantastical. John 10:30. That is wonderful. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll get back to John. I'm still in the book of Mark. I can't wait till I get to John. I bet you can't wait till I get to John. Goodness gracious. You think I've torn the shit out of Mark? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna rip John a new fucking asshole. Did he really say that? Yeah, dude.
Mi burrito es tan bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco bueno, it stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister, now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
All right, we are back. Stephanie Ryan says Paul bonked his head. That dude was cray-cray. That's right. He's not right. I think he was another con man. He was another con man, stealing Jesus's con man. That's what he was. It's sort of like Joseph Smith. Saw something, took it over, put his bent on it, and started reaping the rewards. So, Jazz Montez says, shut the fuck up, Kelly. Already, dude, we ain't turning the other cheek while y'all mock our Lord and King, dude. That is literally the purpose of that story. Do you ever not feel stupid Jazz Montez. I mean, I'm just saying, because you're so unfamiliar with your own Bible that you don't know that that's literally what he's talking about. Those things, abusing your stuff. You're supposed to take it and love in Jesus' name, but you can't, can you? Anyway, Petra, I know you have doggies who, let's see, I know you have doggies who have a kitty cat to cuddle with too. Let's see, I know you have, no, I don't have a cat, no. They are tasty though. The whiskers get scarred on our teeth and I don't like it. Christian Abraham says, what's your reason not to believe? What's your reason to believe other than a feeling in your head? Self-assured fool says, that have wasted their entire lives. You're talking about the Christians, right? The ones who have faith and who believe in something all their lives, yet never get really anything from it, and it just steals from them. Yeah, you must be talking about the Christians. Critter says, if you believe Jesus was a con man, why do you care if what other people believe about him? Because they use their beliefs to hurt other people here in our country with it. I'm not going to go any further. Christians are hurting people all the time. That's why I work to do what I do. Tripolarism disorder says Jesus fulfilled 0 prophecies. The Gospels are full of lies. Indeed, they are. Let's see here. And then Critter says, I see no honesty or humility in your approach. You seem bitter and angry and determined to crush the spirits of strangers. No, not really. Yeah, no. I would prefer not to have to, really. There's a little old lady over on her deathbed. I would not want to rip her religion away from her comfort blanket. I really would not want to. But can she still vote? Is she going to go vote for Donald Trump because he lied to her and told her he wasn't going to let abortions happen? Then I'll rip that religion away from her so fucking fast. I'll rip her imaginary friend away from her so the effects of her belief don't hurt other people in real life. So there's that. Will Champ says they saw everything happen. It wasn't a made-up story, so they told what they saw while getting tortured. Okay, they saw everything that happened is wrong. The people who wrote the Bible were not there. None of the people who were there allegedly lived long enough and wrote the Bible. The people who were there, the disciples who you probably think died for a lie, no, go look. The oldest text about them was like 100 years after it all allegedly happened. It's all fan fiction. There is 0 contemporary evidence that any of it happened. The lies about Jesus doing what he did, no evidence. None. The first books written about Jesus were written by his followers decades after Paul, I guess Paul was one of the first. That was like 30 years after Jesus died. And then the books outside of the Bible that reference Jesus, like Tacitus and Josephus, they weren't even born for like 30 to 50 years after Jesus died, allegedly. So none of it, you can't believe any of that shit. So, and the notion that they died for a lie. Well, I'll tell you what, man, you don't think they would die for a lie? You don't think people would die for something they believed in that they knew was a lie? So you've never heard of con men getting caught and getting killed by the people they were trying to con? They knew it was a con. We could just for example, use an old Western card game where the guy has a card up his sleeve. It's a lie that he's going to win that, but he's willing to die for that lie. That's just one example. But in our particular case, Jesus sends his peeps up there. He sends a woman, he sends a couple of people up there, and they stir up the crowd. Whenever Jesus comes through, the woman touches his cloak and says, oh, I've been healed. I had this bleeding problem. And they start cheering for Jesus. And this other one goes, oh, yes, I saw the miracle. And I mean, he had all these followers. I mean, it was more like a con game, an absolute con. It's so much a con. Go read Mark chapter 7, where all these people were clamoring around Jesus, touching him and all this business. And one woman, an insider, runs up, touches his cloak, and she is healed. He even turns around and she stole his power. He didn't know how. He's like, who stole my power? Who stole the power to heal from me? It's fucking ridiculous. You can speak against non-believers, but they can't speak against your silly claims. That is kind of the way it goes. That's the whole thing. They're like, why are you so angry? Because you're the one putting your shit on us. We're actually the victims here. Rising up, and you don't like it. Why would they on purpose go through torture and die for a con? Doesn't make sense. Well, thank you, Biff. See, that's the whole deal. First of all, point A, none of the texts written that claim that they died in the ways they did were written within probably 50 years, at least, of the alleged account. So it's fan fiction. It is fan fiction. Okay. Now, have you ever heard of a traveling snake oil salesman? What are they doing? They go around, they lie, they sell things that don't work, and then they leave before the people find out and kill them for the lie. They knew they were lying. Yeah, people die for a lie all the time. Whenever Jesus and his followers are sitting around outside this town, and they say, and he's like, all right, man, you go in, you be lame. All right. So you, John, you're going to go over, you're going to be lame. Peter, I want you to go and be deaf. Cindy, be ready. We're going to, and then all you other guys do these things. And then they go through, and somebody actually happened to see them. Maybe somebody saw them walking, all of them together, walking towards the town after they had their little meeting. And they see Paul and they see Peter, and they're walking all of a sudden. And then they get into the town and they're working their magic. And those people who saw them were like, oh shit, you guys are scammers. We saw you outside the town. Now they're going to die for a lie. You don't see how that's entirely possible? It's entirely possible. If they were literally the scam artists I'm saying they are, then that's exactly what would happen to them, would it not? If they were scamming people and got caught pretending and lying, would they not have got? Yeah, that's absolutely what would have happened. Now, again, the texts that they claim, these little sympathetic texts, because Christians are always the victims. Oh, we're the victims. They hung Jesus. They tortured his followers. They persecute us while we stomp on their throat. So there's that. Let's see. If it always existed, infinity would be where the energy came from. I think it's interesting how all these people, like the whole universe argument, they don't know how the universe came into existence. They have no idea, but they're going to attribute it to God. We actually have some science that has really good thoughts on it, but you don't care. But God and the universe can't create itself. That's stupid. That's just fucking stupid. You cannot. All right, atheists. You atheist people are just. Y'all are stupid. You cannot put the pieces of a watch in a dryer and run that dryer for 1,000,000 years and it's going to assemble that fucking watch. That's just stupid for you to even think so. Right? Right? Isn't that the idiotic fucking argument you hear from these people? They ignore the billions of years of evolution and all this other shit that got us where we were, and that it was actually an intelligence that did indeed create the watch, but it wasn't, and it didn't need to be an intelligence all the way back. You superimpose the intelligence. They don't care about that. However, because that watch couldn't have come into existence, that's just ridiculous. Yet their God creature exists outside of our universe, of course, naturally, because that's their thing. But somehow it doesn't have a beginning. No beginning. It, a creature, all-knowing, all-wise, all-eternal, who knows everything, knows everybody, knows just fucking everything, popped into existence magically fully formed. You can believe that. You can believe that. That's amazing what people fall for. Fucking stupid people. People are stupid. I said it out loud, and that's part of the problem is not enough people have said it over time. Yeah. Yeah, so let's see here. What should we do? Let's offend somebody. Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No. I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love. I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is? It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No! Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved. Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. All right, everybody. So we've got a couple of comments here in the chat. Let's see here. Yeah. Miss Non-Secretary, if you can't tag them to mod them, get them out. If you need me to, let me know. Send me a text message if you have to, if I don't see it. Reborn Jacket says, we are characters in a book trying to find the author of the book inside the book. We're inside the book trying to find it. That's an interesting, very cute, I guess, what do you call it? Allegory? It's cute. It's kind of cute. Except for, in this case, this is a book written by the followers of a con man. He conned them into believing something, and they wrote it down in a holy book. That's the difference. Really, in truth, I'm giving them a little more credit than they're due. That's not what happened. Some of you Christians may think that's what happened at best. That's not what happened. No, the people who were allegedly there lived out their lives and told this to other people who lived out their lives and told it to someone who wrote it down decades later. The people who were there, none of them wrote about it themselves. None of them. Interesting stuff. By your words, you will be justified, and by your words, you will be condemned. Please repent. Repent for what? Or what, Adrian? Or your loving God is going to do what to me? What's going to happen to me if I don't repent? Prophet Hanuk, make us whole again? All right, let me check this out. Okay, you got them. Thank you for that. Gotcha. We need a new Wild Bill commercial, says Randall Flagg. We really do. We don't see the old ones enough, but we do. But I got to get some new ones. I got a couple monologues that Wild Bill's been working on, in fact. So, again, by your words, you'll be judged. Yeah, you're an evil God creature. That's your threat. You're going to threaten me. I'm not scared of your threats. And are you really a person that goes around trying to get people to do what you want by threatening them? By putting fear into people? Is that how you work? Is you fear people into doing what you want them to do? Interesting stuff. Truant 89 says, prove the resurrection, and that's not how the burden of proof works. I'm not really sure how that conversation there was going. I come in at the middle of it. If you're saying to prove the resurrection, I missed that. Never mind. I'll get back with you. Why would they on purpose go through the torture and die for a con? I explained that. People go die for cons all the time. Yeah. Really, they kind of really do, don't they? Now, the whole notion that they know they're going to die ahead of time for the con, well, that you're making up. Now you're putting claims that aren't there. You aren't saying. See, Jesus actually told them the Lord, the heavens was going to return. He was going to return by their lifetime. Why would they be afraid of torture? If they thought he was going to return with the glorious salvation in their lifetime, why would they be afraid of torture? Why do you not see the confusion there? The logic that, anyway, you probably don't. Somebody in the chat is actually asking for Wild Bill. Jesus is King. Hey, Mags, thank you for joining us. Man, that is awesome. You are awesome. Thank you for showing. Jesus is not king. Jesus was never king. Jesus was actually executed by the Romans and thrown away by the Jews for claiming to be the king. He was never king. Go be sad about that. We'll be back in just a minute. Wow, Bill.
Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. What the? I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and I'll be your handsome host, your gilded guide, your cowboy concierge of Shakespeare. Dude, really? Today on Shakespeare with a Redneck, I'm going to perform the prologue from Romeo and Juliet. Damn it, Bill. Two households, both alike in dignity in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Hey, that wasn't half bad. I'm not as dumb as I look. Of course not. You'd be in a coma. Okay, so here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, two snot-nosed brats ignore the warnings of their learned parents and end up getting 4 people killed. Bill, come on, man. You're always blah, blah, atheist stuff, blah, blah, boring. Say something fun, for goodness sake. What? Particle is a fun word. Bill, particle. Bill, or talk about horses and dogs. People love horses and dogs. Or boobies. Everybody loves boobies. Bill, oh, can I say boobies on YouTube? If you close your eyes, it doesn't count. Talk about boobies then. Okay, everybody loves those cute little blue-footed bastards. It hurts right here. Culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid bringing a plague on both your houses. A plague on both your houses! By hitting that subscribe button, then that little notification bell. And bang that thumbs up button like frisky cousins at a family reunion. Thank you and take care.
Peace. It just really gets me whenever you guys, the ones that are the real suck-ups, the God-botherers, you know, no offense. I mean, well, offense if you want, but I mean, the ones that come in and actually name yourselves after God or Jesus, or it's like you're trying to catch curry special favor. Like the little kid that sucks up. A sycophant is the term. I think you should look it up, a sycophant. You think God is actually looking over your shoulder? Oh, yeah. Jesus saves. That's a great name. Good. I like that. You think Jesus does that? Ignores all the sobbing cries of those little girls and little boys getting raped by their priests, but gives a shit what you fucking name yourself. How narcissistic are you? I think you're pretty narcissistic. Pathetic, I think. Probably would be a good one. Jermaine Event, good morning. Thank you for joining us. David said, I've never seen someone contribute so much to that time thing and they don't believe in and understand. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, right. Because you don't understand. You don't understand. You don't believe that your religion is actually oppressing and hurting other people and that those other people get tired of that bullshit and they rise up against it. And when they do, you know what you say? Oh, you're oppressing us. That's what happens. When somebody tries to take your boot off of their throat, you feel oppressed. That's what's going on here. Yeah. I'm the bad guy. I'm the angry atheist because I'm sick of you hurting everyone else with your religion. And I'm the bad guy. Isn't that funny? That works. But you won't see it. You won't see it that you're hurting other people. You don't know about the book bans, the deaths, the murders, the kills, all that shit. You don't care. You don't give a shit. It doesn't matter if a woman died in a parking lot because of your religious nonsense. And she wasn't even a believer of your religion. It doesn't matter to you. Baby that didn't even exist at the time, but baby, right? Because Jesus. Because, yeah. Jesus is the way. Says the Bible doesn't detail the process in which matter was created, so there's no exact answer. Perhaps he created it from himself. If he's infinite, then creating a finite thing from infinite is possible, says you. See, it's all stupid. It all sounds stupid. Why can't the universe be infinite? If your God creature can be infinite, why can't the universe be infinite? And go. You're like, the universe has a beginning because of the Big Bang. Well, actually, we don't know that. We don't. Well, that may not be the absolute beginning. The Big Bang may have been caused by something else. We don't know that. And you don't either. But you're God. You're God. The same God that like loves the smell of burning flesh, wants you to sacrifice doves and goats and shit, then finally wants to give you itself and so it can burn itself or kill itself to you. It's just fucking stupid. Fix It Biscuit says the air you breathe is a gift from God and you use it to curse him. It's a heartbreak. That's, again, man, that's just ridiculous. The air I breathe, really. The air I breathe. God creature gave it to me. Well, you know, if he did so many, here's the whole deal. If he can do all of this, why didn't he just create a perfect world with perfect creatures who did nothing but sit around and worship him all the time? And if he did create such a place, then no one, because he's a perfect creature creating a perfect place, would be able to disturb that, would they? So why didn't he create a perfect? Oh, he did. Oh, he did. He did, didn't he? And it's called what? The Garden of what? Let's see. He did, and then you choose to reject him. Yeah, but see, that's the whole deal. Now, David, you are done on my channel. You've proven exactly, you know, I want people to see what David has done here. I'm going to try. I can't pin it on my thing. I'm just going to keep popping it up. I'm going to pin it right quick. And I don't know if it'll disappear once David disappears from our fucking chat. But David, you know, I just don't, this is typical Christian pathetic. Just, oh my God, motherfuckers, get off. Where is he? Did somebody else already knock his ass out my chat? If I find you, hopefully somebody already got him. Yeah. But boy, I think it's really funny coming from a Christian calling anybody else gullible. You believe somebody who died for you but didn't actually die was sacrificed for you but wasn't actually sacrificed for your sins. It didn't actually have to die for your sins because they wanted it. Well, who's the gullible one? This is genuinely the student claim the Bible a person can make. Which one, Gore? Gorshu, which would you know? I'm just kind of catching up. Which claim are you talking about? About Jesus being a con man? Game, I agree. The robot is stupid. The idea that it was made up. Wait a second. Hold on a second. I'm trying to pin something here. It moves fast. There you go. The idea that it was made up absolutely is made up. Which part are you talking about, though? I mean, there's a lot that was made up. Got to be more specific. The whole deal, Roman Catholics expose the whole notion of Jesus being a con man really does kind of fit, though, doesn't it? Jesus and his followers going from place to place to place, performing miracles. Yeah, it sounds like a traveling con, is what it sounds like. And it sounds like he tried to use that con to gain power, and the people he tried to gain power over didn't like that. And we have examples in the Bible of where people literally watched him perform miracles and do this stuff and didn't buy it. Even in his own hometown. Mark chapter 5. His own hometown didn't buy his bullshit. It was a bunch of cons. Just a con. Like the man who they lowered down in the roof through the roof. The buddies lowered down through the roof. He was lame and couldn't walk. And she's like, get up and walk. And the guy's like, I'm healed, and starts dancing and leaves the room. Yeah, that's a con. Doesn't that sound like a con? It sounds exactly like a con. I mean, I say, what the fuck, 7477 says God created Adam, that first man, the father of lies and the deceiver of all mankind. Okay, all right, let's parse this out just a moment. God created Adam, that first man, the father of lies. So is God the father of lies and the deceiver of all of mankind and deceived man? Or, work with me here, is man the father of lies and the deceiver of all mankind? Because that one kind of don't make sense. But God being the father of lies does make sense. He lied to them right from the beginning. It was the serpent that set them free. Just like the Christians here in the chat. They think I'm wicked for trying to set them free from their hate faith. Isn't that weird? You're all too old to have imaginary friends. Ad hom and well poisoning. Yeah. Are they? Yeah, they're doing the ad hom. That's cool. Let's see here. Toggle pin. I'm just trying to catch up with some of our chat. Satan is the father of lies. No, isn't that kind of weird that you would think that? Isn't that weird? You know, the God creature says he actually creates all things, in fact. The God creature admits to lying people in the Bible on a level that you can't possibly understand. We were talking about it earlier. Who is it? John Cork, the God creature, lied to people on a level that is just fucking stunning. Would you like to know? Would you like for me to show you? Would you care? Or because God creature lied to them, and since it saw that as good, therefore it must be holy? Or do you want to know? First, I would like for you to go to Exodus. I keep these right up here just for you people. Here we go. Exodus 20:25. I like that we're harping on this one all day long. This is where your God creature admits to telling an entire population, his own followers, the wrong laws, told them the wrong way to live, the wrong laws, and even told them to sacrifice their firstborn children. Ha ha ha, and they fell for it. I did it because I wanted to show them the horror that I am and that I am the Lord. Exodus 22:29. I'm sorry, 1,000 apologies. 1,000 apologies. It would be Ezekiel 20:25. So I gave them other statutes that were not good and laws which they could not live. Verse 26. I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn, that I might fill them with horror, so they would know that I am the Lord. That's Jesus right there, by the way. That's Jesus, right? You believe God is Jesus, right? Jesus. If you believe God is Jesus, then Jesus in Ezekiel 20:25 tells an entire population of people to believe laws and rules that they cannot follow. So they're going to die and burn, no whatever. They're just not going to succeed. They can't live up to that. And he made them sacrifice their firstborn children to him so that he could show them what a horror he was. Ezekiel 20:25 and 26. Now, you've got, no, you don't get the right, no, absolutely. John Cork, you're right. I encourage you, got to read the whole chapter and get the proper context. Absolutely, John. You go get that whole, you go do that. I encourage it very much so. You're just full of shit. If you, the whole context bullshit, do you know how weak the context bullshit is at this point? Usually the ones who take it out of context are you who take it out of context. Let me see here, though. Let me find it again for you, though. Did you not read it? Where's the, now see, okay, all right. So you want the context? You want me to give you a quick rundown of the context, John? His people were traveling like in the forest. They lived in the forest, and he had told them to not worship the gods of their parents. And they did, and he didn't like that. And he told them a couple of things, don't do this and don't do that. And they did it anyway. And it was kind of the same thing. They did it not to worship the thing of their parents. And this is what we're talking about. That's the context. The God creature told people to worship things, or that they didn't worship the things that he wanted them to. That's the context. That's exactly the context. They were traveling in the forest, or they were living in the forest, and he told them specifically not to worship the altars and gods of their parents, and they did. And that is why your God creature exposed himself to these people and told them to live by laws they couldn't. He horrored them into following him, and then he gave them rules they couldn't follow, and then told them to sacrifice their own children to him. Ezekiel 20:25-26. There's your context, dude. Do you repent from this ignorance? Do you repent from this hate faith? I've shown you the weakness and pathetic nature of your argument. Do you repent? Are you now an atheist? Do you recognize how disgusting this God is that you worship, that Jesus worshiped? Again, as we were discussing at the beginning of the show, Passover was what? Passover is the celebration of the God creature sending its angel to kill the firstborn of Egypt. And you don't like it whenever I talk about child sacrifice and that the Christians support child sacrifice. And yet, the God creature killed the firstborn of Egypt, killing the firstborn, killing the first. You don't seem to put it together. That it is absolutely willing to. Abraham, It told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, which in the older text that he may have actually done so. The God creature did this, to sacrifice your own children. Jesus Christ is a sacrifice, a child sacrifice. For the God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That's a child sacrifice. And then Christians nowadays really seem eager to sacrifice the children, don't they? Don't they? We've got decades, hundreds of years probably, absolutely, of the Catholic Church raping children, but only probably the last century and a half, century-ish, century and a half, where they were actively moving and protecting the pedophiles around from place to place to place. And then the other places like the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Southern Baptists, where they actually hired entire legal teams to attack and suppress the victims. Yeah, they'll sacrifice the children to protect the church. Christians sacrifice the children. Absolutely. 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 And they're all about protecting the babies that haven't been born yet. They don't give a fuck about the ones that have been born. They talk a good game. It's called virtue signaling, where you say you do a good thing, but you bitch about a good thing or claim to be a good thing or complain why other people don't do that good thing while not actually doing that good thing yourself. Yeah, where'd God come from, Brett? Let's see here. The Realidio is a FFPOS that can't tell me when Jesus was crowned King of Israel. He wasn't crowned King of Israel. Never was. Good morning, John. Thank you for subscribing, man. It's a human condition. Let's see, just trying to catch up a little bit with the chat. God is being so gracious to you, and you turn around and spit in his face. Do you understand how tragic that is? Fix it, biscuit. You are a grown person, I presume, who goes through your entire life believing in fucking childhood fantasies. It's literally, we've covered the whole thing. It's everything from its ancient death cult, where the ancient Hebrews used to sacrifice animals. It's blood magic, all the way to the fact that Jesus Christ was not actually sacrificed for your sins. He was never the king. The Jews did never worship him. They never sacrificed him. The Romans don't sacrifice. All that thing. There's so much things, and it's just sad. It's just so sad. And it breaks my heart that you've gotten to this age, and it's such a waste that you've gotten this far in your life and given up so much for this ridiculous bullshit, and that you can't get your mind out of it, despite the fact that people have told you. We tell you how dumb it is. And what crutch did they teach you to use to protect your mind from the reason and the logic that people were going to use? What crutch did they use? Faith. Oh yeah, it sounds stupid, but you got to have faith. Yeah, that's how you get to heaven, is through your faith. You got to prove your faith, because it's stupid, so you can prove your faith. Oh, but you know what? I don't have enough faith. I really don't. I don't have enough faith. That's just kind of. Oh wait. Now we've got the fear. You don't believe. You don't have enough faith. So you're going to face God. Jesus is trying to save you, but you're not listening. And the God creature is going to get you when this is over. When you die, there's the fear. You didn't believe on the faith. Are you going to believe on the fear? How many of you out there are in the chat and are Christians because of your faith, because you truly believe? And how many of you are still there because of the fear? How many of you out there have said blessings for me because you're afraid for my soul? From what? The Michelin Man? No, from your God creature. You're like, no, Jesus is peace and mercy, but Jesus is God, and God is horrible, and God is disgusting, and God is blah, 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 blah. So let's see. I'll warn you. Let's see. I'm going to kind of put my glasses back on. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. It's really, I want to use the word tragic. Your word. Fix it, biscuit. It is just tragic. It's tragic that people like you believe this thing. And then it goes beyond being tragic to where when people like you use your belief in this thing to hurt other people. And you can't say it don't happen. It happens all the time. It happens right here in the United States. It happens all the time, every day. It's happening. And then on top of the fact that it does oppress people, whether it's gays, women, trans people, anybody. And Christianity just oppresses people. It's just outright harmful. Physically harmful. It kills bitches. Oh, how does it kill bitches? Well, I like to go, my old go-to is how Mother Teresa and Pope John Paul told the people of Africa during the AIDS epidemic not to use condoms because the Catholic Church is condoms. Millions of people died, horrific deaths. But we don't have to go back that far. We don't. You want to talk about people like Kirk Cameron and his little anti-COVID Jesus Christ is going to protect us gatherings during the plague, during our COVID-19 outbreak? Do you remember that? Yeah. How many people died from those mass spreader events? Not only that, how many people died, and you're like, Jesus Christ protect them, that's just fucking stupid. How many people died that didn't go? That didn't believe your bullshit, that did not believe the stupid, ignorant things about Jesus Christ somehow being scared and sacrificing himself, and it's a sacrifice, but he's God and he's impervious to death, but death, he's afraid of death. That's just fucking stupid. And yet, it's sad. It really is sad that you believe these things. I got distracted from it. Then prove it, says Jordan O'Kelly. Yeah, prove it. How did God come into existence, Jordan? Consciousness is the content. Let's see. The Great Awakening is now. Does this guy take all live calls? Let's see. Snuggle Bunny. Easily disproven what he's saying. I don't think you could, really. I don't think you could. What could you disprove? Which part exactly? Did you go? How long have you even been listening? Did you discuss the chapters I gave you where God talked about telling people to sacrifice their own children to God? Were you here for that? Did you see that part? No, I don't. I don't anymore. You know why I don't? I'll tell you why I don't. Snuggles asks why I don't accept the debate calls. I used to for a little while. I even still have the phone line. But here's what happens. They call, they don't believe in evidence. We don't value the same thing as evidence. They don't give a shit. They'll say the same things, Christians like you. They'll ignore all the evidence of the horrific stuff and go something like, oh, but Jesus did this good thing, this one tiny little thing, despite all this horrific stuff. Or they just outright lie over and over again. We had the one guy call who was going to give us contemporary evidence of Jesus. Me and Kelly Laughlin here, you can even watch it. Me and Kelly Laughlin talked to the guy, tried talking to him for a while. He would not, he just could not. And finally, he promised that his evidence was not related to Tacitus. And they're like, all right, fine, tell us what your evidence is. And he says, have you ever heard about Nero? Well, he talked to Tacitus. You don't listen. You don't want to listen. You have no intention of listening. And again, what are you going to debate really against me about your God creature? Thoughts on the Amish? I don't give a shit about the Amish, Patriot of the West. I really don't. I don't give a fuck. They're not harming anybody, so I don't give a shit. The only people the Amish harm are themselves. And for that, there should be some reporting, because there's obviously some sexual mischief that goes on between them and their. But yeah, the Amish, I don't really have a problem with. They're not up in my grill. Who's Chris talking about? Who's Kelly Laughlin? You mean that guy, Kelly Laughlin, in chat? I don't know. Let's see. Chris Shuck says they used to torture people upside down and burn them alive on crosses, saying kill them. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. All God will know his own. More rabble. More, do you realize how that doesn't make sense, right? I mean, maybe it's not your first language. I'm going to give you credit. Do you have anything to be thankful for? Asked Fispizky. What does that have to do with anything? You mean thankful to God for? So you're going to say that anything I have that I'm thankful for, I should thank the God creature for? I should thank the God creature for all the things I've worked for? Well, why should I thank the God creature for anything and be thankful for anything? I mean, there are horrific murderers, horrific motherfuckers in this world, like Donald Trump. We believe he's in the Epstein files more than Epstein. He's in there 1 million plus times. We know he's a serial child rapist and quite possibly a serial child murderer if you read some of the stuff. Yet he's got a lot to be thankful for, doesn't he? Oh, look at all the wonderful and glorious things he has to thank for. He's got a beautiful family. They're all grown up. They're all healthy. He's got money. He's got wealth. He's got friends. He's got support. He's got the Jesus freaks all over him, praying, laying hands on him. What the fuck do you talk about being thankful for? Worked my ass off all my life and I got nothing. So your God creature didn't help me do that. I did that on my own. You know, there's this class divide between us and them, and you're fighting for the wrong team kind of shit. Anyway, anything to be, what do you have to be thankful for? Do you have not, are you going to give everything to the God? I mean, that's just stupid. Yep. Gee. How did God come into existence? Jordan, right? They don't care. God is being, yeah, I'll tell you. Clear our pens real quick. That's a good point. Dale says, why believe in Jesus if he came from the wrong family lineage? You know, that is a good point. Jesus is supposed to come from the house of David, but he didn't because Joseph wasn't from the house of David. But they're like, oh, now all of a sudden we care about matriarchal lines. Most of the time we don't. Throughout most of the Old Testament, they don't even name the women at all. They entirely populate the earth twice and don't even name the women. 2 chapters of the thing, they give us entire generations and generations and generations being mentioned. And of those 2 chapters, only one of them even mentions females at all. And the way it refers to them is it says, Bob had sons and daughters. That was it. For a guy that don't believe, you spend a lot of them. Reborn jacket. Just say jacket. I don't know what the fuck. For a guy that don't believe, you spend a lot of time fighting something that doesn't exist. How many people are there? I just don't fucking know. You just don't fucking. You really don't know, do you? You really don't know. You don't have any idea. How many Christians in the chat are sitting here going, why does this guy up here argue about something he doesn't think exists? Give me a fucking thumbs up or some shit. Give me prayer hands in the chat if you're wondering why I'm doing this and you don't know that it's literally your offensive fucking religion that you push on everybody else that makes us do this. You're oppressing us with this bullshit and we're just tired of it. And you say we're angry? What? I'm angry. I mean, it's like you're over there raping someone. And when they complain, you're like, oh, hey, you're oppressing me. Stop. You're taking away my right to rape you. Ask me again why I worry about Christians and about the God. I don't give a shit about the God creature they worship. It's what they do. Let's see. Chemical Sword, what did that say? It was so tiny. Can you make the pinned comments bigger? I don't know. We're just responding to thousands of years of religious claims. That's true. Let me see. Can I make it bigger? I'll rub it and see what happens. How's that? Hey, let me move it over here since I don't have a co-host anymore to do the thing, get in their way. Let me put it over here and see if that helps. It might get in my way a little bit. We'll see if that helps. David was a messed up fella. I know. David was like fucked up. Dude. The atheist and the ungodly are oppressing God. You don't really believe that, do you? You probably do. You probably do. Yeah. Your God is so weak and pathetic and disgusting. Impotent. I believe impotent is the word. We're oppressing your God. Say that again for me. I'm sorry. Do that again for me. Tell me about how us puny, weakling atheists with no power at all are oppressing your God creature. Does that make sense to you? Let's see here. The other side of your argument. It's the other side. Yeah. You can look at how amazing the human body is and turn around and say there isn't a creator. Yes. That's the whole deal, John. Fix it, biscuit. This is the whole deal, man. Here's your comment. You can look at how amazing the human body is and then turn around and say there isn't a creator. Wait a second, though, dude. Look how amazing the human body is. Oh, yeah, it's all right, I guess. It's not bad. My lower back hurts. Most of them do because it was a poor design, if you want to go that way. Why don't our eyes last longer than they do? Why are we so poor? What's up with the fucking appendix? And yet, I mean, you can't answer any of the questions about how your God created man. We just, popped into fucking existence out of a rib or out of some dirt? And yet, we've got lots of evidence about evolution. But you don't want to believe it. You don't. You want to talk about things like the eyeball? Let's talk about the eyeball. First of all, the human eyeball is not the best eyeball in the world. There are many animals out there that can see a lot better than we can, first of all. Oh, man, can you imagine if you had the eye holes of a fucking mantis shrimp? That'd be badass. But anyway, there are different stages. Theoretically, you know, we theorize there are different stages of how eyes have formed throughout evolution. And because, you know, not everything evolves at the same time, there's different things that happen. We have different different creatures have evolved the eyeballs separately. We have evidence for this. We do. You can go look at that evidence. You don't want to know that evidence. You don't go, oh, geez, Satan put that there. You don't want to see that evidence. But you can go find, you got animals right now that are alive in this world that have everything from the initial light-sensitive patch up on top where there's just a light-sensitive patch to where they have a little bit of a recessed hole to where they have the full close. We've got the whole thing, man. It's all out there in evolution. You don't want to know it. In other words, what I'm telling you is the eyeball that you claim is so wonderful is actually evolved several different times. Yeah, it's not that impressive. And we didn't need your God creature to do it. We have all the evidence that it really did. We have evidence, and you don't believe it. Why? You have no evidence outside of God, the world is created by a perfect creator. Look at the amazing human body. But yeah, it's all fucked up. It is all fucked up. We are not amazing. We are not perfect. If we all walked around looking like a fucking Adonis or some bullshit, that'd be one thing. But that's absolutely not the case. And you can clearly not argue that humans are physically perfect. That's just fucking stupid. And then you can see how we are closely related to our fellow apes. You can see that. Like cats are related to lions, humans are related to chimps. We didn't come from the same, we didn't evolve from chimpanzees. That's stupid. If you believe that, if you believe that's the case, then that's stupid, and you're stupid for believing it. I'm sorry for telling you that. Somebody should have told you sooner. But it's stupid. What happened was we evolved from the same creature that the chimpanzee evolved from. There was actually a break off between chimpanzees and bonobos. They kind of went away and we went another way, and there was other kind of thing. But yeah, we didn't evolve from chimpanzees. And if you think so, then what are you? Say it with me. Did you believe them when they said we were evolved from chimpanzees? Did you? What are you? Come on, you can say it. We've got billions of pieces of fossilized evidence of evolution in museums and research centers all over the world. Billions. We have non-fossil evidence, like I just gave you about the eyeball. About here's a creature over here. You've got the octopus. There's a stage of the eyeball. You got another creature over here. It's got a different stage of the eyeball. You've got this creature. It's got a different. We got all different stages of the eyeball. It's all there. Do you want to know it? Do you give a shit about it? No, you don't want to know. You don't give a fuck. Why don't you take calls? Because you don't fucking listen. You don't want to listen. All you want to do, see, that's the whole deal. I am not here, like the other atheist channels, to defend atheism. I'm not really here to defend abiogenesis, or I'm not here to defend evolution, really. I just point out to you how stupid you are for not believing in it. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to defend atheism. I'm here to pull Christians away from their religion by exposing how hateful and stupid it is, and how hateful and stupid the actions of its followers are. So you can call Matt Dillahunty and you can ask him why he believes in evolution, or why there's no this, why there's not, and that's what they're for. That's what they're. I don't know. Watch enough Matt Dillahunty to know if he'll just tell you, listen, man, you're just fucking stupid. You should have been shamed as a child. Not as a child, that's bad. You know what I mean? You're actually, to be truthful, somebody who taught you that shit when you were a child should have been shamed. Yeah, they should have never been able to teach you that bullshit. That's mental child abuse. And you know what? I tell you what, the Christians of our day are getting so fucking bad in our world that I believe that it should be like considered child abuse to knowingly leave your child with a Christian. How do you feel about that, Christians? I mean, we've already talked about how the Old Testament talks about how they sacrifice children to God. You'll deny that and lie about it. That's how good you are. You're like, that's not what that means. It's exactly what it fucking means. Moses was told by God to sacrifice their firstborn child. You don't give a shit. Ezekiel was told that he told people to sacrifice her. You don't give a shit about that. Jesus himself is a child sacrifice. For the God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That's a fucking child sacrifice. But you don't believe that? You don't give a shit about that. And then 2,000 years of the church molesting children, whether it be the Catholic Church, the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witnesses, it fucking doesn't matter. If you've got an organized cross on your thing, somebody's in there diddling kids. Tell me I'm wrong. You'll sacrifice the children, all right? Don't fucking lie and say you won't. Christ never be... Yes, that's right. He withdrew to his... Yeah, it's right, Crispin. He never claimed to be king. No, wait. No. My understanding, there was the claim to be king. But he was never king. He was never king. Whether it was him claiming to be king or his disciples claiming to be king or the fan fiction authors who later on, long after it was written, just wrote the shit down, none of it. He was never king. Your God creature was not a king. Calling him so is just kind of, what does that mean? That's dishonest, isn't it? Is that dishonest? You don't care. Then you'll go King of Kings, right? Lord of Lords. Isn't that Paul talking? Are you a Paulinian? That's interesting stuff. Let's see. Engage the foreknowledge distinction or conceded. That's right. Good morning, Roman Catholics Exposed. Geo. Hey, Geo, I'm going to try this. All right? I want to try it. My Texas accent kind of stumbles over. Geoelectricaterisano says you are wrong. I don't know who you're talking to. You might be talking to me. Could be talking to somebody in the chat. Let me see here. Did I get a thing? I got a thing. Somebody sent me love. The thing made noise. Oh, yeah. See, that's the way to go. I tell you what, my friends, we have got Chat and Chill. Wednesday nights. Yes. Let's see. It is at 10 p.m. Eastern on Discord. Okay. This is wonderful. If you don't, we've got a wonderful Discord community. On the rare occasions I do still kind of take calls, I almost always first take them through Discord because it's free. So if you want to maybe get there, but again, really, it's not really a lot. I don't really see the point in it anymore. I give you all this evidence and you're going to ignore every bit of it. And so I'm kind of done. I give you the evidence and then I call you stupid for not believing it. Yeah, do that. I know. I'm not really in the favor of other atheists at the moment, as far as I know. I've never been. So it's not that big a deal. I'm supposed to be respectful of your religion. I'm supposed to be respectful of the club you use to beat down other people with. I don't find that, I don't just want to. Anyway, so let me do this thing. I'm going to post Discord here. Thank you, Miss Non Sequitur. Miss Non Sequitur. We've got Scotty over there. We've got all of our wonderful mods in the Discord. Just type apostrophe Discord. And they may be fully willing to debate you over there. And you can go, no, that's not true. That's not true. All you want to over there. Discord, hashtag Discord. Oh, I left out a C. There we go. And Discord over here. Wait just a moment. I saw some ignorance come through here. 1 second. Is it in this chat? Which chat did it go through? Damn it. Maybe it doesn't come through yet. All right, let me go over here. Discord. It did Discord. So they got, it's called Damn Random Chat and Chill tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss that with Aaron Non Sequitur and Scotty and all of those wonderful people over there. There is the link. Now I want to see if this come here. I want to find out. Somebody made a comment here. Give me a moment, my friends. Let's see. Roman. Nope, that's not you. You didn't say it. Jesus was never king. Yeah, that was you. Okay. Sorry, there was an individual said, give me an example of, and I wanted to give them examples that they were asking for. Let's see. It went by fast. Damn it. I remember seeing the first part. I was like, I'll light you up. I'm fixing to give you exactly what you want so you can go, oh, that's not what that means. Stephanie Ryan. Good morning, Stephanie Ryan. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day out there. Send safely, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow. Man, I missed it. Our chat goes fast, and I'm limited into how far up it'll go. But I really wanted to get that one. I wanted to give you the scripture you were asking for. You said whatever the beginning of the comment was, give me the scripture that says, and I was like, okay, because I don't talk about that shit without having the thing. I like watching you squirm, to be honest. Oh, it does say that. Yeah. How many foreskins? Yeah, David killed a lot of people for those foreskins. That must have been some good nook. I'm just saying. Man, I cannot find it. I am disappointed. I cannot find it. David killed the Philistines, and then there was also killing the man so he could have her wife, or because he got her wife pregnant or some business. It's been a while since I've read some of that stuff. I don't think I'm going to find it. Somebody may have blocked it out. I don't know why they would do that, but man, I wanted to see it. Whoever it was in the chat, you were bitching about not having some scripture. I really wanted to go to the scripture. Flockmeister. Flockmeister is also one of the people that says if enough people come to the show, 10 o'clock at night Eastern, they will do a puppet show. I don't know what that means, and I hope it's at least PG rated. I mean, it's not at most, I don't know whether, I don't know, but if you know who we're talking about here, it could be anything. So you guys be there, be square. Just prepare to be, disturbed. All right, obliviously Tom, thank you for joining us and proving your obliviousness. How dare you take the Lord's name in vain? Quite easily, right? It's not hard. You should try it sometime. Obliviously Tom says, no one would willingly die for a lie. We have hundreds of eyewitnesses accounts of Jesus as well. All right, listen. Obliviously Tom, you're wrong on both counts. Don't listen to me. Mark this down about both of those counts. And then when you have come back and told me that you have discovered you are wrong, let me know if you still believe the rest of it. So on the first count, no one would die for a lie. Really, no one would die for a lie. And we've talked about this just earlier on the show. Con men going around trying to con people and pretend they can do things they can't do, absolutely would get killed for dying for a lie. If you had a group of people like Jesus and a couple of other people, his close buddies, going around to town, listen, man, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to go heal some people. You pretend to be lame. You pretend to have the bleeding sickness. You pretend to have this, and I'll come along and heal you. But if they get caught, do you know what's going to happen? They're going to die for a lie that they very well knew was a lie. And that's extremely possible. That thing has happened all the time. We know very much that is an entirely possible thing. Very possible. Now, second of all, did they die for a lie, though? Really, do you know that they died for a lie? I will challenge you, obliviously, Tom, to go discover, write this down. Write it down, Tom. Go find out when the books or stories that talked about them dying for the lie were written. Go find that out. Go find out when the stories were originally written. You will find that none of them were written within like 80 to 100 years of the event. So it's fan fiction. Nobody who was there wrote it down. Okay, and then you're going to go read the Bible Loser. Oh, wait, that's not you, someone else. We also have hundreds of eyewitness accounts of Jesus as well. We don't. There are none. That's the whole point. There are 0 eyewitnesses of Jesus. That's one of the points of my rhetoric, obliviously, Tom. Go look in the Mark. I'm still in Mark. Go read through Mark. I'm through 5 or 6 chapters of Mark, and he goes places that all these people come and watch him. Hundreds of people, 5 or 6 towns, entire cities come out and watch him. All the countryside from here to there come and watch him. And nobody wrote it down. Nobody. 0. It's one of these. It's a big 0. Nobody wrote it down. You're going to talk maybe about Pontius Pilate. No. Go obliviously, Tom. Go look for yourself. Pontius Pilate did not write that down. Go look. Then you're going to say Josephus. Great. Josephus was born probably 30 to 50 years after Jesus allegedly lived. Then you're going to say Tacitus. I'm sorry. Josephus was even further. Tacitus was 30 to 60 years. Josephus. So none of that was at the time. Now, some of them have lied to you and say Julius Caesar has just as much evidence. Well, no, that's not true. There are 5 histories written about Julius Caesar that were indeed written by people 100 or so years plus after he died. That's true. But there are actually written accounts of Julius Caesar all over. Hellenistic, the whole area, the Middle East, not the Middle East, Greece, it's all over the place. He wrote his own books. Other people literally wrote about him that did not like him. You can't say that about Jesus. Where's the book of Jesus? There is no book of Jesus. So you are wrong on all those points. So now you are charged with going and discovering this. Don't listen to me. Go look. First of all, the whole dial for a lie. If it were a con, as the title of the show, Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Anyway, it shows almost over. If they were con men, then yeah, absolutely. They knew what they were doing, and they would indeed die for a lie. They never intend to die for a lie. They just get caught, and it happens. They knew it was a lie, but they got caught. So that's not ridiculous. That's not out of the realm of belief, this whole wouldn't die. But then again, go look at who and when wrote those articles, the stories about these disciples. It's all fan fiction. It's all lies that was written a long time ago by people who worshiped and believed. It's fan fiction. So you're wrong on all of those points. Do you care? Does knowing you believe the lies that you've been exposed to at this point make you wonder, well, fuck, what other lies were I led to believe? No, you're probably not, I would guess. John Cork says you wouldn't die for a lie. Yeah, well, I think you probably just kind of missed the whole point then, didn't you? What we just said. There are a lot of people who, how many Americans went over to Vietnam not really believing the U.S. was there to protect our freedom in the United States, or that we were there for, I mean, it was a lie. Thousands of people died. Did they go over there knowing they were going to die? No, they didn't know for sure they were going to die. Let me ask you then, my friends, did the disciples know they were going to die ahead of time? Oh, Jesus says this is some crazy bullshit. People are not going to believe you, and they will persecute you for this. Well, of course they will. Of course it is. Because it is stupid. It is ridiculous. And people will, I mean, especially when you go around imposing your bullshit on other people. Yeah. So, we have many manuscripts. No. You are wrong. Geoelectricator Casara, you are wrong. Do you care? Go look for yourself, dude. Don't go to BibleGenesis.com. Don't go to the ArkEncounter.com. Don't go to none of that. But I mean, that's just fucking stupid. Go and find out for yourself. Research it. How many actual real manuscripts there were for Julius Caesar? Go look it up. For Napoleon. Fucking Napoleon, dude. That's ridiculous. Napoleon... Jesus, no, though. I already told you, there are no contemporary writings about Jesus. Go find them for yourself. Don't listen to me. Go find them. When you're wrong, come back here and tell me you're wrong. So I'll know. Put it in the chat for me. Let me know if you repent from your idiotic, stupid ways. I'm curious. You believe in magic. Do you believe in magic? Let's see here. Paul fell off a horse, hit his head, and saw Jesus. Paul doesn't even claim to have met Jesus. My understanding, and I just learned this recently because I'm new into the New Testament, my understanding is Paul may have met a couple of the disciples years after the events. Like he met them, I think, and then waited like 6 years after meeting them to write one of his first letters or some bullshit. You know what I mean? So go look it up for yourself. Paul never met Jesus. At best, it was firsthand recounts that he got at best. And then when you go look, you'll find yourself amazed that the teachings of Paul are different than the teachings of Jesus. Let's see here. Yeah, some people just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I'll let that pass. I let it be. Let's see. I'm almost done, guys. I'm going to go do something else. Paul killed Christians as a pagan, then converted when he had an understanding. You know, I don't really think so, Michael Verano. I think it was more about money, wealth, power. Yeah. And more about power. You know, now, of course, you claim that, Paul went through all this and Paul went through that. Yeah, according to Paul. The guy who literally says, I never met Jesus. I hallucinated him on the side of the road. You're fucking worshiping Joseph Smith. Jesus, your words, it's like you worship Jesus through Joseph Smith. If you worship the New Testament, because most of it's through Paul. Paul made shit up, no doubt. Google, what is the most verified book in history? Is it the Bible? I wonder how that would work. I'm keen. Book in history. Yeah, let's see what this says. One of the things is the Bible is so prolific throughout history. It's one of the most published books ever. So even if a tiny fraction of it were able to be verified, that wouldn't really mean much, would it? But anyway, it does say the Bible, specifically the New Testament, is often cited as the most historically reliable and proven book in antiquity based on the sheer volume of supporting manuscripts, early copies, and extensive archaeological validations. Manuscript evidence. New Testament boasts, I see, very fascinating. This is very fascinating. Archaeological evidence. Some sources consider this Quran to be the most preserved book in history. Okay, I'll tell you what, I love this. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. It doesn't actually say it is the most verified book in history. It is said it's often cited as the most verified book in history, probably by Christians, often cited. And as mentioned before, I even opened the article, well, it is the book that has been published more than any other book on force. But no, we don't care about that stuff. And then we've got this here, though. I want to give you something for you, my friend that's out there in the chat, who believes this, by the way. I really want you to have this. It's a website called lyingforjesus.org. And it is going to demonstrate for you all of the, well, not all of them. I'm sure there are more. But a great many of the contradictions in the Bible. Let's look at your most verified book in history, shall we? Fun. Let's look at this. I'm going to share this with you, my friend. My very much lied to friend. Let me show you some things. Yes, there was a city named Jerusalem. Yes, there was a city named Rome. Yes, there was Romans. Yes, there was, because there were people around at the time when the books were written, that really doesn't prove anything. I just want to go there. But anyway, you want to be most verified book in history. All right. Let me introduce you to your most verified book in history, my friend. All right, here we go. Damn it. Oh, yeah, it's there. It's there. I got to go over here. Hold on one second. On my move, s'il vous plaît. Is that it? Sorry. We got people going to work here today, so we got dogs barking, and the dogs will be barking. Hold on, let me get you this website. I need to show you this because your thing, I guess. So let me go here, and I'm going to go there. Studio. So can you see this right here? You want to see this with me? I'm going to share this with you. Let's highlight that for you. This is contradictions in the Bible. Yeah, these are contradictions in your Bible. The most verified book in history, ignoring the fact that it's by sheer volume probably been printed 100 times more than any other book. But yeah, ignore that. Now, you'll notice, my ignorant friend, over here on the far right side, I hope y'all can hear me. Can y'all still hear me? Let me look at my audio. Okay, y'all can hear me. You see this area over here on the far right? This are the contradictions. This is what this is, Bible contradictions. This is where here it tells you to go left, here it tells you to go right, here it tells you to wear a red hat, here it tells you to wear a blue hat, here it tells you to sacrifice things on Sunday, here it tells you to sacrifice things on Tuesday. Here Jesus went left, here Jesus went right. Go look. Did I post a link? Let me post this link for you that you will not follow. Because let me post it for you anyway if I can find it. Okay, here it is. Now I gotta say, I don't know what it is about their website, guys, but they don't have a secure an SSL certificate, which is weird, I think. But I trust. I have faith. Let's go. Where is it? Why did my shit get all moved out of the way? There we go. What up? All right, here we go. Lyingforjesus.org/ damn it. I am being smited by YouTube. Here we go. Lyingforjesus.org. There you go. Now you go look at how the most cited book in history fares against actual reality. Yeah, it verified maybe. I don't know about that really, but go look, my friend. Let me post it over here, the other chat for you, so you can see it. Why follow Jesus when it's all Paul, right? No shit. There you go. I'm actually even going to pin that one for you, so it'll be up there for you, so you can not go look at it. Here in a moment. Let me bring me back up here on the screen. But wait, before I do that, I just want to go further here and show you more things that you're probably not going to like. Oh, wrong way. Bad man. Here. Okay, so now, as you can see from this webpage, we've got like all kinds of contradictions and inaccuracies throughout the Old Testament. The New Testament's way over here. But if you would like a chronological record, or a record of, say, things like the scientific absurdities and historical inaccuracies in the Bible, where were you, my friend, who said the Bible is the most... Yeah, where are you? I'd like to see. Yeah, I'm sure you're probably not there anymore, maybe. But anyway, here are the scientific absurdities and historical inaccuracies that you can find in the New Testament. And you can see right over here, that New Testament you were singing a song about, that one's right over here. This is it right here. Look at all these scientific absurdities and historical inaccuracies. Isn't that weird from your book, From a Perfect Loving Savior Who Knows Everything? Okay, so yeah, you can buy that. Now look down here. Here we've got cruelty and violence. Over here, on this side over here, I hope y'all can see my mouse. Can y'all see my mouse? On this side over here where I highlighted on the far right red, I don't know if you see my... Anyway, over there on the far right, that's the New Testament. That's cruelty and violence in the New Testament. On the far right, it's more of a darker color. Same with the green, it's green or darker. The misogyny and violence and discrimination against women. Right here, look at all those verses. Isn't that crazy? Over here, we've got New Testament verses. Look at all those verses in the New Testament against women. Wow, 1 Timothy fucking hated women, didn't he? Goodness gracious, look at that. Revelations verses that just are against women. Oh my. Down here, we've got discrimination against homosexuals. You'd think that's really weird, wouldn't you, considering Jesus ran around with a bunch of men alone all the time? And when Jesus was captured allegedly at Gethsemane, a mostly naked young man was with him and ran away, losing his loincloth. But that's just weird. I don't know how that's yes, you guys. And then, so they're the things. So you can go away now, my friend, knowing that there are quite a few contradictions in your hate book. Your book full of blood. Just full of blood. Bloody book. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go do something else for a while, okay? I very much appreciate you. Tomorrow's Thursday. We're going to talk about stuff. Michael says Leviticus 23rd call homosexuality and abomination. Yeah, that's interesting. Didn't David also... David had knowledge of another man, didn't he? Wasn't it David? But then also, doesn't Leviticus say not to cut the side of your hair? Do you eat bacon? Do you eat bacon, Michael? Bacon's... bacon. Doesn't Leviticus say not to eat bacon? Doesn't somewhere in there say not to eat bacon? I could be wrong. I believe it's even the same book that says not to eat bacon. And not to cut the hair on your temples. Do you do that? Do you wear clothes of a mixed polyester and different fabrics or mixed fabrics? Do you do that? You're not supposed to do that. Yeah. Let me just get right over here. Random guy. Bewail in hell, Satan. Jesus was the bottom, indeed. Yeah. So God destroys Sodom. I want to mention Michael Verana. For me, you do this for me, bro. Thank you, DV Downcast, for all the sex. I appreciate that. I'll read that in a second. Michael Verana, go look in the book of the Bible and look for the story of the Levite. And in the story of the Levite, you will see the other side of the story of Lot. Two angels. In the story of Levite, is two men. They go to the city center while they're traveling. An old man, Lot, takes them in. The city, all the men of the town come around demanding to get a hold of the men, the angels in Lot's story, and want to rape them. And in Lot's story, Lot tries to throw his daughters out to them, but they refuse. In the story of the Levite, it's sort of the same. The Levite has a concubine. Lot, the old man, has a daughter. He tries to give them a daughter. They refuse. The Levite pitches his concubine out and then locks the door, and she gets killed overnight. Now you're like, why does this have anything to do with Sodom and Gomorrah? Well, obviously, it's clearly the opposite story. But then after this happens, the guy, the Levite, takes her body, cuts it up, sends it to the 12 tribes of Judah. They gather and destroy the city. It literally tells you they destroy that city. It tells you that men destroyed that city. So the whole God destroyed Sodom? No, the Bible tells you men did it. Yeah, the fictional story tells you God did it. Yeah, it's kind of a shit story, isn't it? But really, the Bible tells you God did it. And I'll tell you something else. There's another story where Abraham has to go save Lot because, wait for it, okay? Check this out. These 9 kings had a war, and they all got rings, and then there was this one ring. Sorry, wrong story. There was a war between 9 kings, and the 4 kings, there was 4 kings against 5 kings, the 4 kings won that war, and then they destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. They did. They destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. They took everything. They took all the cattle. They took all the food. They took everything. They took Lot and his family, and Abraham, I think at the point, had to go rescue him. So Abraham became a warlord and went and rescued Lot. That's how the story of Sodom went. That's how Sodom was destroyed. It tells you 2 different ways in the book how Sodom was destroyed. What do you think of that, my friend? That's a perfect book you got there. All right, my guys, I am off to save the world. I hope you have a wonderful day. We will see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. Secular Feelings for $2 says, honor to the poor mods in the crazy stream. I know, my guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate your sacrifices over there. The vertical stream is rough. I get you. The Christians, you with all their love and peace and mercy, are very ugly. Deviant Outcast for 129.6 says, from your resident archaeologist and Egyptologist, we've got one right here. The notion that the Bible would be the most verified book in history is simply ludicrous. Thank you for that. Again, I think that's like simply on volume. And then, of course, it did say it was claimed to be the most cited, the most verified. But then again, if we were to go, yes, it does verify that there is a city called Judea or Jerusalem or whatever, then yeah, all right, so that's one piece of evidence. Great. But you've printed 20 pieces of those books, and you're counting that one piece of evidence 20 billion times. And so, sure, it's going to look like it's the most verified book in history. By that notion, though, it should also be considered the most debunked book in history, shouldn't it? Interesting. Thank you for the super chat, my friends. Thank you all for your time. I very much appreciate you. We'll be here, same devilish time tomorrow, ungodly hour, 9 a.m. Eastern. See you tomorrow. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat scent.
Ha ha ha, Rad Dad. How pathetic are you? How about all of us know this man is evil? How about let's leave this stream and block him? Did it work for you? Did they leave your little prayer circle? Are you seeing this? That means you didn't block me, you stupid twat.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goats, the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen